he sends it to the outside. He can't get there. Kevin King is going to win the Barr FTF Cup Series.
Into the lead. Bud gets wrecked in front of the pack. He saves it. 3-4 wide as they come to the white flag.
Here comes Vargas down on the apron. They are 5 wide. Ian Plash will win it at the line. Is this package? Oh, there goes Jordan Lopez Jr. That's your race leader. Caution flag is out.
Still no one willing to give up as they're going to be dead even off of the first chicane.
Oh, he saves it. What's going to happen here? Here comes the canvas.
Get your front gear.
He's got it. He's got it. Get there. No.
Canvas is going to win. FTF.GG welcomes you to the virtual Atlanta Motor Speedway in Atlanta, Georgia. We've gone a little backward in time, but it's the end of the season, so who the hell cares? Tonight, at Old Atlanta Motor Speedway, the FTF Barr Visual Cup Series welcomes you to Atlanta for tonight's race, the Racecraft Academy 500K. So glad you could join us tonight here from Atlanta as we get set to crown a champion. 4 drivers set to go to battle for the title. Jacob Hitch, Sean Butler with you. Caleb Hoffman, fashionably late as usual. Zach Johnson, our producer for tonight, as usual as well. And there you see one of our championship 4 out on the racetrack right now, Sean. Do or die for these 4 drivers. Only 3 of them have had a trip to victory lane this year. That 4th guy, you're seeing him right now on the racetrack. He really wants to repeat as champion.
Would be the first repeat champion in FTF history, FTF Cup Series history, I should say. So all eyes are on our championship 4. But if you ask me, Jacob, Old Atlanta is best Atlanta. So really happy that this track is once again the cap to a season. I know it isn't anymore, but I guess in the early 2000s, I could say that is back in the day now. I guess that used to be the season cap off. So really glad to see the FTF admins decided, hey, we're going to go back and use this racetrack to cap off the season and crown a champion. Should be a fantastic race. I mentioned this last week. Auto Club doesn't disappoint. Old Atlanta barely disappoints as well. This track is going to be a fun race to watch. It provides great racing, multi-groove racing. We're going to see people performing slide jobs on each other, working for grip. I am so excited to see who is going to maintain their position the best, who can stay out front, keep their noses clean, and come out with a win here tonight. Maybe it's one of our championship 4, who knows, but should be a fun one to watch.
Anything can happen, and anything is better than ending the season in a desert in Phoenix. So
yes,
we are, we'll have some time to talk with our championship 4 before we get ready to roll. That's Parker White out on the racetrack right now as he's trying to set yet another pole this season in FTF. He crosses the stripe. Doesn't quite put him up inside the top 10, but he has plenty of poles this year. That started his lap, and you get 2 laps. It's not just a one and done. So we'll see what Parker White can do. He's been on the pole a lot this year. He's been to victory lane even more. 14 wins. That's a single season record by a lot. And he's already put himself 4th in the all-time FTF wins list, breaking that tie he had with Isaac Gann a couple of weeks ago back when we were at Martinsville. So there's his first lap done. He'll do one more here. Not a great first lap, but it takes that first lap for you to get fully up to speed for lap number 2.
Absolutely. But I've been on record as saying that if Parker somehow doesn't win this championship, it should be a very heavily investigated this format, because he should have wrapped this title up a long time ago. Kind of like a Kyle Busch situation where he just broke his leg mid-season, came back, and was somehow able to win the championship. So really hoping, though, Parker pulls it off. He is by far the most deserving driver so far. Put on a heck of a season, the most consistent driver, most dominant driver, and for him not to cap this off with a championship would be very concerning about this format. But he's got his work cut out for him. You know, Michael Frisch with the most clutch win of his FTF career last week. at Auto Club. He's looking to capitalize. Kevin King, as you mentioned, repeat champion, looking to go back-to-back. So these guys are definitely all in on this race. They're going to be up at the front often, making some bold strategy calls. And this is for a very prestigious place in sim racing history. FTF has been around for a while, multi-platform back on NASCAR Racing 2003 for the veterans of the service. So it'll mean a lot to these guys to etch their name in FTF history as a champion.
Qualifying in its final couple of seconds, you saw Parker White. He qualified in the 10th position, at least provisionally, while these last couple of drivers wrap things up. And you may notice a couple of drivers in this field, not necessarily because of what they've done in FTF, but because of what they've done outside of it. And we'll get through our starting grid as we get closer to the green flag. So we are in warm-up now. That should take us to around 9:15, so about a 10-minute pause, at least as far as everything being really on track. And they got to cheese check everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And by everybody, I mean the 4 people that Kevin has landed on, and that will be, let's take a look here. That'll be Michael Cozy Jr., who qualified 3rd. 9th, who is Blake Reynolds. 18th is Chris Wetz. 30th is Tyler J. Williams. So none of our playoff drivers really impacted by that. Let's get a move on here. In talking with our 4 interview drivers and getting things ready to go. Start moving folks to the places where they should be. Probably should be in that one. There's that.
Live
There's
TV.
That. Yep. This is what happens when nobody's willing to drag anybody. They should be up there. All right. Let's start from, I guess, bottom up, because this guy hasn't been to victory lane in a year. That's Kevin King. He won in a walk-off last year at Phoenix, beating Wyatt Tinsley, winning the race, winning the title to go with it. It's been a long time. I say that, half making sense. It's been a long time since he's been to victory lane. Only a year. Can he do it tonight here at Atlanta?
Yeah, why not? I feel pretty good here. I've always ran well. I got a little loose there on exit of 4, unfortunately, but it's a long race, so I'm not too worried. Felt pretty good with some laps that I did. Actually did laps before this race for once all season, so we'll see how it pans out. I'm hoping that long run comes into play, and it's not just a bunch of yellows with hot laps and all that fun stuff, because then it gets a little chaotic. So hopefully we can have some long green flag runs, see what we can do, and I'm confident in my pace. I haven't won a race or anything, but I think I've finished. It's not a fluke that I'm up here. I'm not a fluke that I'm in the final 4. So sure, a win would be good, but maybe we'll just do it tonight.
You have the second best mile-and-a-half average finish out of everybody in the final 4, just a little over 10.1 so far on this year. Now, you did miss one of those races earlier this year, but you've been strong on those mile-and-a-halfs. But you've got a big target in front of you, driving the 011 in Parker White. What's it going to take to beat him tonight?
I think it's just going to be, just being on the same strategy, so to speak. Don't let him kind of run that. He likes to get out there and kind of run the pace and set the pace. So as long as you don't make him feel comfortable, there's a lot of fast guys that showed up tonight, and just fast guys in general. So I'm not sure we'll see the same ability to kind of just manage the race however he wants. So just being around there with him and just keeping tabs on what he's doing, and not get too caught up in his strategy, so to speak, but just really do what I can to make sure that I'm around when it matters. So just really don't get too caught up in everything, right? Just have a clean car, get yourself towards the end to give yourself a chance here.
Well, Kevin, best of luck tonight. We will see you at day's end. Go get him here at Atlanta. Good luck.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
That's Kevin King looking for his second straight FTF Cup Series championship. We'll talk with the next man up on the totem pole. He walked his way in to the Championship 4. Last week at Auto Club, it's Michael P. Frisch, and he's with Sean.
Frisch?
Hello.
Hey, so we mentioned this last week and just now, but you walked off at Auto Club to get in with a little bit of help from your buddy Parker. So what do you got to do to put the cap on this thing, man? So how locked in are you coming into this thing?
We gotta be pretty locked in tonight. Parker's got 14 wins on the season over us. I mean, he's been the guy to beat every week. The pace has been there for him. Obviously, he's a coke driver. He puts a lot of time into the sim. But between me and Falk and him being in a contender, I mean, we're about the same now. So, I mean, it's just got to come down to execution and be the best we can tonight. Like you said, Game 7, all on the line. Nobody really, none of the top 4 qualified somewhat close to the top 5. So we're all going to be kind of spread out. So it's going to be pretty interesting. Next Gen at Old Atlanta is a character of its own. A lot of people are struggling in practice with the loose, so got to be careful of the rear tires tonight. Got to take care of them. Got to keep the drive in it and be there at the end.
I mean, you had no slouch of a season too. I mean, don't sell yourself short. I mean, yes, you had the one win coming, but very consistent. 9 top 5s, 15 top 10s. So it's not like you had a season to kind of be, upset about. So, so what would it mean to you to kind of finally, you've been running FTFs back since NR. So, I mean, how much would this championship mean to you just by how much time you put into this, to this league over the years?
Quite a bit. I mean, like I said, you got Parker, King, and Falkingham, all guys that have been in the Coke series. And then you got myself, who is that close to it. But, yeah, no, I mean, these winning over this would be a huge mental game going into next week, going into Texas. But, I mean, these guys don't sell themselves short of being here and being in contention every week. I mean, a lot of guys put time into this sim behind the scenes that people don't talk about. And it's just kind of remarkable to see this Final Four, to have 3 NFR guys just be here. So we really have a good shot to bring home it for the team. And yeah.
Well, Frisch, we'll let you get back to preparing. I know you got a lot of practice to do. Like you said, getting used to this loose on exit. I could tell it's getting a lot of people out of shape. I'll let you get back to it, dude. Good luck to you, man, and bring that title home tonight.
Thanks, Sean.
That's Michael P. Frisch. He's got a shot to fight for a championship after the win last week. This guy's won twice this year, including back at Homestead in the playoffs to keep his postseason alive. His name's Daniel Falkingham, and he is standing by with one Caleb Hoffman. Good evening, Caleb.
Yeah, nice to be here. Nice to be here with you as well, Daniel. And as Jacob was mentioning, 2 wins so far on the season for you. It was a long-awaited win to get your first at Michigan, and then obviously to keep your championship hopes alive. You know how to win when the pressure's on. You think you can do it again tonight?
I'm hoping so. We've had a really good season up to this point. Considering how our first half of the season's gone, it feels really good to be in this Final Four spot. Just hopefully we can do all we can to maybe bring home this title. I know we got a great Final Four with me, Parker, Frisch, and Kevin. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to the challenge to hopefully bring this thing home. But we're going to have a good race, hopefully, and just make it to the end in one piece.
Anything you got up your sleeves in terms of, strategy you're looking at, or you thinking you're just going to go out here, try to lead laps and stay up at the front the entire race?
It's going to depend because, we got a really long race. I think this thing's like 200 laps. So we got a long way to get to the front if we want to, but really all we're doing is I'm just racing 3 other guys. I know we got a lot of really good guys here tonight. We got a big field for tonight, but at the end of the day, there's only 3 people I got to beat. So as long as we can just beat those 3, we'll be celebrating at the end of the night. So just going to depend. Just let the race come to me, and we'll just see how it plays out. But hopefully it ends with us hoisting that trophy when it's all said and done.
Well, we'll let you get focused here as we're about to get up on the grid. Appreciate you taking the time. Good luck tonight, and hopefully we're talking to you at the end.
Thank you, Caleb.
That is Daniel Falkingham. We'll go back to you, Jacob.
Sean Butler just discovered the plethora of notes that I've had all season long.
Haven't been here all year, Jacob.
That you've been in the booth a couple of times, but apparently I haven't shared it with you.
That is correct, yes.
Whoops. All right. Here's the man that a lot of people anticipate is going to come away with the title tonight. It's Parker White. He's been outright fast everywhere we have gone this year. 14 wins, 22 top 5s, 25 top 10s, only 1 DNF. In the 1.5 mile races this year, he has an average finish of 9.8. He's won at Vegas, Kansas, Chicago. It's been a busy year for you on the racetrack in the sim, Parker, and here you are now to try and put it all together.
Yeah, it's been pretty busy. It's been a really good season. I don't really have many expectations for this race. It all really just comes down to this. Whichever one of us finishes best out of the four will win the championship. So really anything is going to happen in this race, because on the short runs, you can really make the top side work. I think we'll see a lot of aggression on the short runs, which will probably lead to a lot of cautions. But for my race, I'm just looking to keep it clean. I really wouldn't really care about the championship because I'm just running this for fun, but it'd be really nice to get it. It's been a fun season, and hopefully we have a really fun race for the championship.
And you're racing against guys tonight that you've been racing with in the NASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing series, or with Frisch have the potential to be seeing him on the racetrack next year. What does it mean to you to be racing some of the best for this title tonight?
Yeah, it's really good. Just to race with Kevin, Daniel, and Frisch, it's really all just coming down to this, racing them the whole season. I was hoping I'd get to race Guest for the title, because he's always really fun to race with at the end of these races. But like you said, these other three guys are really good, and looking forward to racing with them.
Well, Parker, best of luck. We will talk to you more than likely at the end of the night, and we'll see you at the end of this deal. Best of luck.
All right, thank you.
That's Parker White looking for his first title in technically his first full-time season. He ran too many races last year in 2022 to be called a rookie this year. So Daniel Falkingham, the only rookie in our championship four. Everybody else has been around the block a time or two. So here we are, getting set to go. I don't know when we're actually going to get rolling here outside of the driver's meeting is done. So I would think in just a couple of moments that we'll get things started. But should be a lot of fun tonight.
Absolutely, man. It's like I was saying earlier in the pre-race, this track, along with Auto Club, provides some of the best multi-groove racing the service has to offer. We'll see a lot of drivers starting out on the bottom of the racetrack to start the run. Then you'll see the drivers kind of start to migrate up to that top lane right by the outside retaining wall there. Or maybe just start out there right off the bat and use that for short run speed. So really going to be fun to see as we see Kevin kind of mix it up. We'll see drivers up here where Kevin is. We'll see a lot of drivers on that white line on the bottom there. So I like this by all the drivers out there now just kind of getting used to where the grip is, running each line, and seeing what works. But one thing that could kind of put, I guess, another level to this race, Caleb, is green flag pit stops if we get there. Atlanta provides, this version of Atlanta, provides some of the most treacherous pit road entries on the service. So definitely going to be one to watch if we get that far.
Yeah, absolutely. And even before the reconfiguration where we enter in on the backstretch, one stat that did stand out to me here just on how dominant Parker White has been this year. He had one win coming in to 2023 and is now top 5 all-time wins list with 15 total. So like you were kind of alluding to earlier, Sean, it would be a crime if you didn't walk out of here with a championship. But that's why we race. Let's get into it and see.
Cars are heading to the grid. Let's get to our starting lineup for tonight's race.
Look at our pole.
On the pole. Yeah. Brody Kostecki. How about it? He's been to victory lane this year. That was, I believe, the Chicago Street Course. No, Road America. Wrong road course. So he won at Road America, filling in for, you guessed it, driver 88. Of Kevin King. He's got Malik Ray to the outside. Michael Cozy Jr., Kevin McAdams in row 2. McAdams, he was part of the playoffs earlier this year. So was Wyatt Tinsley. He lines up 5th. Omar Diallo to the outside. Our first of 4 playoff drivers, Daniel Falkingham, lines up 7th. Jonathan Oates to the outside. Blake Reynolds and Seth Knoll rounding out the top 10. Sean?
And Parker White, our favorite coming in here, will roll off P11 in the 011 next to Brandon Hawken in the 099. Row 7, Dylan Basin, Drew Jua will roll off 13th and 14th. Josh Chin in the 53, Jonathan Oshalim in the 11 will make up row 8. Briar LaPrade joining us tonight in the 019 alongside Chris Wetz. Playoff driver Michael Frisch will roll off 19th, having to come midway through the field. And Caleb Justin Lisenby, he'll round out the front 20.
Looking on back to 21st, you'll find Jake Poulin starting alongside him. Rocky Boy the third, the number 16. Row 12 going to be made up of Matthew Zwack in that Verizon machine next to Aaron Riolo, starting alongside him to the outside. Scott Ricard inside of row number 13. He starts with the number 97. And Jordan Worth, who's been close to a few wins this year on his outside. Cole Freilich in the number 4 on the inside of row 14. Paul Mikalajic in row 14 as well. Michael Guest just got eliminated last week. He'll start on the inside of row 15. And then running out your top 30 is going to be Tyler Williams in the number 34.
And the rest. Gavin Newton will start 31st tonight. Kevin King will start 32nd. Well in the back for the driver trying to win his second straight Barr Visual FTF Cup Series title. Zach Hudson is there. Alex Balderas, Scotty Smith, and Jack Mace. The rest, your provisional drivers, Brian Zabelski, Art Reimer, John Poole, who is in for Cosmin Yoneshu tonight, David L. Brown, Ryan Pandicio, Lawson Peel, and Carson Hocevar. That is our field of, I believe, 43 tonight here from Atlanta. Let's take a look at the weather, guys. 12:30 in Sim. So, track's hot. Real hot.
That's
so
right.
in Sim, we are looking at July the 4th. Happy birthday, America. 2023 at 12:33 right now. Air temp 92, track temp, you could fry a steak on that thing. 137 degrees, not a lot of humidity. That's unrealistic. The wind 2 mile an hour out of the north and not a cloud in the sky. Here's the deal as far as points. They don't matter, at least for your Championship 4 drivers. The only thing that matters is where you finish. The highest finishing out of the drivers that you'll see in yellow on the left-hand side of your screen is the champion. No stage points, no bonus points. The only thing that matters is who finishes out front first. And we'll be talking about that a lot tonight. The pace car will make its hard left turn onto pit road. And for the final time this season, we're kicking FTF off with a bang. Green flag. We're racing in Atlanta. Brody Kostecki leads the opening lap, a calm opening lap here from Atlanta. Side by side for third on back as Malik Ray takes over that second spot. It's Cozy and Kevin McAdams side by side.
And Kevin running that high outside lane as I was talking about in the pre-race. So he's going to be one of those guys experimenting, seeing how that works up there and seeing just how well the tires act when he's running that. He's running the middle lane right now, which will still work. But definitely going to be interesting to see how this fall off goes, especially with this setup. Side by side with Cozy right now. Omar Diallo's right there as well. And right there, Daniel Falkingham, our highest up playoff driver so far, running inside the top 10.
Parker White stuck on the outside a little further back. You can tell by the red banners and red spoilers on the playoff cars. There are 4 of them. Parker White stuck back there behind Brendan Hawken in the outside line. He's got Blake Reynolds to the inside, who was one of the playoff drivers earlier this year, got eliminated after the round of 8.
Yeah, something that's going to be so important tonight is just exercising patience. You see Daniel Falkingham right now, highest of the Championship 4 with Parker White. Pretty close behind him, and if you're Daniel Falkingham right now, it takes a lot to fight off that urge to look in your mirror and see where that 011 is running as we go on board with the Micro Center Camry. And for these two up front especially, you're just going to have to be aware, but don't let it take up all of your mental energy, your mental space, because you still got to go out here and battle everybody else on this racetrack.
Oh, they're 3 wide coming off turn 4. That was scary. With Oshalim, we did see a car off the pace that got the wall in the back straight away. And it is a mess with Basin, Oshalim, and on the inside, that's Jonathan Oates, 3 wide, and it was dicey coming off turn 4.
And look at Dylan Basin just making moves here in that 04, just cutting his way up through the field. He's already up a few spots. I mean, Dylan Basin, let me see, started back in 13th, being shown in 9th right now, so not content to ride in line at all as we're looking on board. The roof cam, Dylan, he's got the VR on today, so what a time to bring that out. I think this is the first time Dylan has thrown on the old Oculus for VR. It's a great experience, by the way. If you haven't tried it yet for iRacing, you want to feel like you're in the car, by all means, give it a shot. But I'm looking further up ahead, guys, now that this has calmed down. Brody Kostecki almost out to a second lead, 9/10. You see him all the way up there from our roof cam. He is checking out right now, so not sure if tire saving is in the cards for Brody, but he's definitely making his presence felt to start this thing.
Well, and what did Kevin King talk about? Take the lead out of the hands, take the pace of the race out of the hands of the guy driving the 011 in Parker White. Right now, Brody Kostecki is doing that. And granted, Kevin King's not in the best spot right now. He is 27th on the racetrack. That's at least up from where he started. Right now, Daniel Falkingham in the catbird seat, but if he looks in his mirror, he'll find that 011 is right behind him. They are 7th and 8th on the racetrack.
And again, it goes back to that point about just exercising patience, even for guys like Kevin King. Right now, he's up 5 spots from the initial start. But as long as you keep that methodical pace, just keep picking guys off, you have plenty of time. Keep in mind, 200 laps here from Atlanta. There's going to be a lot of time for you to make moves tonight. Just, again, keeping your nose clean, keeping that car in safe shape. You'll be good for the end. The only thing that's going to take you out right now would be pushing it maybe a little too far, potentially getting caught up in a wreck.
8 laps are complete so far. As Kayla mentioned, a little over 200 laps tonight, 203 in total. We do still have stages, even though the stage points don't matter for the Championship 4. The end of lap 65 is the end of stage 1. The end of lap 130 is the end of stage 2. And the end of lap 203 is the end of the race. Good side-by-side battle right now for the 5th spot. Brandon Hawken wants it. Kevin McAdams has it, and Daniel Falkingham is waiting right behind.
And Kevin's still working that middle to high lane. He hasn't come off of that yet to start this race, so I'm going to pay a little bit closer attention to Kevin than anybody else up here to see just how much his tires fall off, if they even do. So we'll keep an eye on that. You see Falkingham in that green car go to the bottom, looking to get right underneath Kevin McAdams there. So Kevin, I'm kind of surprised he's not running the bottom, but I mean, he's the setup guy for FTF, so if anyone knows how to run this setup, it's him. So we'll see where he ends up. But everybody kind of slowing down a little bit. You know, everyone was side by side, 3 wide, running by the wall to start this race, but looks like we're calmed down and everyone's, for the most part, migrated to that bottom lane.
Lap times haven't fallen off too much, if at most about 1/10 of a second so far through 10 laps. But those lap times are only going to continue dropping as time rolls along. Falkingham gets a little bit of distance, and now a car between himself and Parker White. And we are single file all the way through the top 10. The first side-by-side battle, you got to go back to Chris Wetz and Aaron Riolo. This is for 19th, as you see Josh Chin peeking to the outside as well.
And tire management going to be so important today. And again, we looked at that track temp of almost, 140 degrees Fahrenheit earlier. And so it's definitely scorching out here, but you got to keep in mind as well, this track isn't as worn as it was at the tail end of its real life duration on the Cup circuit, where pieces of the track were literally coming up while they were racing there. But it's still going to be interesting to watch. You see Josh Chin playing around with that middle line just a little bit. I think right now what you're seeing from everybody is, again, just trying to tick laps off. Only 13 down of 203 right now. Just a lot more of a conservative approach than what we've seen in the initial start of these races in the past.
Playing it safe is the name of the game. Let's take a look a little further back in the field. Kevin King, he's in a hornet's nest right now with Alexander Balderas, Scott Ricard, Jordan Worth and company. This is right around the top 25. You see 3 wide as Ricard goes way up the hill.
No.
Look at that.
Of all
love
the
it.
times you can have that on, time you're winning for racing for a championship, you throw the oversized cap on for the team for Kevin. But I want to see if this hat stays on in various stages of the race. So we'll find out. But I don't know how to follow that up. But Kevin right behind Jordan Worth, just taking his time. Kevin, one of the most patient drivers, as we joke around, me, Jordan, do with Kevin. You know, the seasoned veteran is what we call him. Been in sim racing for such a long time. You know, there's very few situations that Kevin King has not seen. Age 43 there for Kevin. He is the elder statesman of this field. But definitely one of the best drivers out there. He's in the Coke Series for a reason. Aaron Riolo's watching the broadcast too as he's driving. He said, "Love your big hat, King," in the race chat. So levels to this. But Kevin going to slowly, methodically pick his way through the field. Going to have to be very, very patient and pick his spots. But he is going to do just that. And do not be surprised if Kevin is a big factor in this thing as we wind this race down.
It is a long race for him to get from the back to the front, and so far, so good for the driver of the 88. So far, not so good, though, for the driver of the 011. Parker White's lost another spot to Josh Chin, and he is about to be under the gun for 2 more spots. Brian LaPrade and Dylan Basin are right behind him as Falkingham continues to slip away. Parker White, I don't know if he's saving his stuff a little too much compared to the other drivers around him, but he's starting to lose ground a little bit.
Yeah, and I mean, throughout this field, really, I mean, we're starting to see guys separate a fair amount. Even Parker White right here, not as big of a gap to the back of Josh Chin, but you can see that many pockets are forming. 3 or so cars, and then there's a little bit of a gap in the front of that group, in the back of that group, kind of throughout the front 12 or 15 cars, really, and then it starts to get really smudged together a little further in the back. Parker White right now, though, trying to just do his best to log laps, get in the tire tracks of this number 53 machine of Josh Chin, and maybe infiltrate this group ahead of him of Kevin McAdams and Brandon Hawken as well.
Now, you notice Josh Chin there using the outside line. He's been using that pretty consistently around the racetrack, while Falkingham and Parker White have been glued to the bottom of the racetrack. You're right on board with the 53.
Like I said, as this run goes along, we're going to see these guys moving around all throughout the race. You see Kevin McAdams just in front of him as Brandon Hawken went right up with Kevin McAdams to that outside. By the way, our leader, Brody Kostecki, has a 1.8 second lead over these guys. Just make it look easy right now is Brody. So he is out there in a league by himself right now. There you see Kevin throwing one of those little slide jobs I mentioned earlier on Brandon Hawken, getting himself up into 6th. So again, everyone's still searching for grip. We're going to see this a lot as we see just ahead of these guys, Malik Ray diving underneath Michael Cozy Jr. That's for 3rd. He's going to take that spot. Very weird seeing Michael Cozy Jr. not in the 99, but one of the long list of super subs in that 49 car this year. So add Cozy to that list. But look at this. You see everyone going through 3 and 4. Everyone running pretty much a different lane. No one running the same lane than their competitors through 3 and 4.
And for Cozy, he was 2nd. He's been passed by Wyatt Tinsley for that spot, and now Malik Ray has gone by for 3rd. Falkingham is on the back bumper as well. So Cozy maybe burned the tires off a little too much, and he's now under the gun from the rest of the top 10.
Somebody else that might have burned up the tires a little too much, actually. We mentioned Brody Kostecki and his giant lead. Wyatt Tinsley quickly is biting into that lead. Last time by was about half a tenth faster in that number 20 machine and has whittled that margin down to 1.6 seconds. And straight away looks like Kostecki's getting a little bit better of an exit, but you can see on entry on the ticker there, I mean, Tinsley is biting into that chunk bit by bit. And who knows, maybe in about 10 or so laps can make this thing a race.
Here you see Wyatt, and he came so close last year. As you see Falkingham get by Cozy, and now McAdams trying to do the same. Wyatt Tinsley came so close to having the shot at beating Kevin King for the championship. Just late race restart, Kevin got the better launch, and he was gone from there. As the field comes off turn number 2, we are a little over a third of the way through stage number 1 here in Atlanta.
And you mentioned so close for Wyatt too. I mean, we can't forget that iconic classic finish between he and Michael Guest at Las Vegas. One of the closest finishes in FTF history in that race. You even thought that Wyatt won going to the line, almost called it as if he won, but then we looked at the results and it said Michael Guest edged him out. It was a little almost tie. I believe it was 1/1000th of a second was the margin, 2/1000, something like that. So that's kind of been the tale of Wyatt's season. Just so close, just missing out on it. But he's going to look to bounce back strong next year in FTF and get himself back into this kind of position to run for a championship. Definitely has the speed to do it. But meanwhile, in the middle of the top 10 here, the racing has just been fantastic. Brandon Hawken in that yellow and gray, number 99, running the top side. Cozy on the bottom. Kevin McAdams right there. And there's that guy, Parker White. He's still saving his tires, but he's not done. He's looking to pick his way up through the field again.
Pulled those tires off and just trying to get back to work. He's got Parker White right behind him. Brandon Hawken on the outside, and I'm sure this is the last thing that Parker White really wants to do is battle. But he's stuck right now. Now he goes to the outside of the 99. He'll try and get it done up top.
So much fun to watch these guys search this racetrack for grip, and Briar LaPrade about as close to the wall as you can get, and right in the tire tracks of the 011 now, trying to break his way into that top 6. Hawken staying strong there on the inside, but I think LaPrade using that momentum on the outside is going to be just a little too much for Hawken to fend off, and now LaPrade might be able to go try and challenge Parker White for the 6th spot.
Briar LaPrade has been strong this year. Almost won at Pocono. He lost to the guy that's right in front of him. Parker White had a nice little photo finish with Briar. Back at the Tricky Triangle, the 3-turn racetrack. That was not a good day for Parker White. He wrecked like 3 times in the last 10 laps and still came back and won the thing.
That kind of
That's
season,
how hard
right?
it is to beat him.
It's been, Parker's almost been like the final boss of the season. You know, just you reach this point of the game, you beat all the other levels, and you get to Parker. So definitely been that kind of season for Parker White. By the way, not surprising at all, fastest car in the top 10 right now is Parker White, lap times wise, the last couple laps. He and Briar LaPrade kind of been mirroring each other as far as lap time goes. But we were kind of mentioning, Caleb was mentioning Wyatt Tinsley just ahead of these guys, kind of tracking down Brody Kostecki up here. The last time I checked, the lead was 1.8 seconds a few laps ago. Wyatt has knocked it down to 1.2 seconds. So Brody might have overexerted the tires on this first run, just kind of getting a feel for how this car is. But Wyatt Tinsley and the rest of the field playing a little catch-up.
And we're also going to be looking at here, stage end is lap 65. We're going to be looking, I think, at green flag pit stops before the end of the stage, especially for tires. Maybe not for fuel, but I think tires is going to be the demand for most of these guys.
And I'm wondering if we see anybody try to, play a little short pit strategy here early on. Remember, no stage cautions at the end of lap 65 unless there's an incident of some sort within that time frame. And if anybody can come in early, I think there will be an advantage in terms of you'll have way better tires. And, yeah, that might fade away in the next 30 or so laps. But I think there might be some potential, at least, for some strategy play with the tires. If you're, say, 15th on back, maybe for somebody like Kevin King, for example.
Let's go through the field and check in on our Championship 4 drivers. We begin with the man out in front. That's Daniel Falkingham. He sits in 4th right now. 2 seconds behind the race leader. Then 2 cars back, you have Parker White in the 011 trying to win the championship in a dominating season. You have to go back to 13th to find Michael P. Frisch, another Norris Forest driver. He's got Dylan Basin right behind him. Frisch started 19th. He's plus 6 spots since the drop of the green flag. Then you have Kevin King 2 spots back. He is 15th. He is up 17 spots since the drop of the green flag. That is the most out of the entire field. The biggest mover of the race, driver 88.
Shocking, right? Never seen that before for that, but we anticipated that. You know, as we look on the racetrack, Parker White looking around Daniel Falkingham. This is for 5th and the proverbial lead of the championship. So what's that popular saying in sports go, Jacob? If the season ended today, so-and-so would be in the playoffs. And this is similar how this works. If the season ended right now, if the race ended right now, Parker White's your champion. So it's as simple as that. For those of you who are new, the lead finisher of the 4 competitors is your champion. So Parker White trying to make this bottom lane work. Kevin McAdams giving him a little bit of resistance on that outside lane. But right now, Parker showing just how important those tires are. And your point there, Jacob, earlier, I think Parker, what we saw early in this run, we saw him to start super saving, as we call it. He's probably going to try to run this first fuel tank out to make those tires last as long as possible, so he can go longer and be a little bit further off cycle and have fresher tires than everybody. So Parker, we've seen so many times this season, has been a long-term thinker with his strategy. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's what we're seeing out of him right now.
They have 7 tire sets on pit road to use tonight. So you don't have unlimited tire sets. You have a certain amount. You've got to take care of those tires throughout the night if you want to have a shot at being fast at the end of the race.
And one thing that is particularly interesting to me is somebody that's really started to come alive as this run has go on is Parker White and that number 011 machine. Right now, as of last time by, out of the top 5, was the fastest of them on the racetrack. And his best lap so far isn't exactly, it's as fast as somebody like Brody Kostecki or Wyatt Tinsley's. But again, it's only been a 10th fall off so far for Parker White. So maybe a sign that he took it easy on that first half of the run. And now as everybody else is kind of worn their tires around him, he started to really start to put the pressure on him and really started to come alive 38 laps into this run.
Don't look now, a little further back, but Kevin King has caught Michael P. Frisch. Here they are back here coming off turn number 2. This is 13th, 12th and 13th on the racetrack. Frisch walked off to get in. What did happen to Carson?
Carson Hocevar on pit road driving for Lucas Plussel. And we're being told he has a meatball flag, and that might be curtains for Carson's race early.
So a couple laps ago, he got loose off turn 4 and fenced it. And that may have broken the toe link on the right rear of the race car. That would have been the end of lap 36. Coming off turn 4, just got loose, overcorrected, and bounced it off the wall. Here side by side for second, Malik Ray, Wyatt Tinsley. And that could open up the door for Parker White. Past 2 cars for the price of 1. Maybe, if they don't wreck themselves first.
And Malik Ray has been one that's really been struggling with the handling. You can see the rear end wiggle there out of turn number 4. You'll see it again here off of turn 2 if I had to guess. Look at Wyatt Tinsley all the way up against the wall. 3 wide here for Parker White, trying to split the middle and get both of them in one corner. He has help from Brian LaPrade, and he will move the 011 into the second position. Now he will have to try to go chase down Brody Kostecki for the win.
They were closing in on Kostecki before they got bottled up there with Tinsley and Malik Ray. Now Parker White and Brian LaPrade sneak out of the group. And Parker White's got a little over a second over his championship foe in Daniel Falkingham back in the 9th spot. So Parker White has come alive. Daniel Falkingham on the decline right now, 40 laps in. to this race here at Atlanta.
We're mentioning, comers and goers throughout this race. I'm looking through the standings right now, and there are some big movers. We mentioned Kevin King. He's currently plus 20 right now, currently sitting in 12th after starting 32nd. A couple other drivers we can give a shout out to. Lawson Peel back in 25th, started 42nd, and he's currently plus 17 back there. And a few others in double digits. We mentioned Briar LaPrade. He started 17th. He's up to 3rd. That's plus 14. And Michael Guest, no shock there, started 29th. He's up to 14th, and that's plus 15 for Michael Guest. So a lot of guys are able to kind of keep the tires on it, make up the ground. And we see these big 3-wide moves being made now as Omar Diallo looking to kind of get around Michael Cozy Jr. and Kevin McAdams.
Yeah, he said, hey, middle, and Kevin McAdams responded with, what universe? They were close. I don't think they were quite 3 wide, but I think Omar wanted to make the point that, hey, I'm almost there. And now that could open up the door for Falkingham down on the inside of the Interstate Batteries machine. Nope, he gets loose. He's going to lose his momentum.
And Falkingham, the last few laps, has started to hit a little bit of a cliff, and you can see now Frisch really starting to put the pressure on that 054 machine. Is his fall combined with Kevin King and Michael P. Frisch's ascendancy through the field at this point has put all of them together, and now look at to the inside to take over second in the championship standings is Michael P. Frisch. He has Michael Cozy Jr. maybe to try to use as a pick off of turn number 4. They're still going to be side by side, but Falkingham's going to have the run as they hit the line.
They are out of control, at least coming off turn number 4. Track temperature up to 145 degrees. It's gone up 8 degrees since the drop of the green flag. That was only a half hour ago.
We got to look and see who did this, because this is not ideal track. And we were kind of going crazy during the firecracker with that track temp, but that's a lot more than what we saw at Daytona. For that, is you see these guys getting so loose off the corners. I think the old admins did that by design to just make these guys have to drive these cars as hard as they can and search for grip. And I'd say it's working. You see everybody. You see Michael Guest back there running the wall, middle lane of the racetrack. Frisch is running. Kevin King made a pass on the bottom. So while the conditions are treacherous on the racetrack, it is providing us with some fantastic looking racing. This is what Atlanta definitely was on this surface. Just everyone running everywhere.
19 laps to go in stage number 1. If you notice, Parker White has started to reel in Kostecki a little bit. The gap's down to about a second and a half. And closing. But some great stuff from about 5th on back. Omar Diallo trying to get by McAdams. He does so. Blake Reynolds is right there. And how things have changed. It's gone from Falkingham being the top dog to he's now behind everybody. Kevin King has slid into second in the championship fight. He's up now to P10.
And some fantastic driving already from Kevin King, and I think some of that veteran experience showing through right now as he's worked his way up inside the top 10 after starting 27th. And now he's going to have a new battle in terms of the number 49 of Michael Cozy Jr. and Kevin McAdams right in front of him. McAdams has really been committed to this top side in turns 1 and 2, and now you see they're going to do a switcheroo with Cozy taking that outside lane and Kevin McAdams down on the bottom. I think Kevin King will be able to split the middle between the two of them, similar to what we saw with Parker White, but it's going to be extra difficult at this point in the run with how slippery and sliding all these cars are over this scorching track surface.
Gap between Kostecki and White down under a second. We continue to watch this battle. A lot of cars here, and all it takes is one mistake. Cause some headaches for some of these championship drivers. Joshua Chin says he is pitting this time. He was inside the top 10. He's now back in 18th. So here comes the 53 to pit road. Ooh. As Dylan Basin comes over the radio and says his right rear is gone. Cole Freilich says he's coming to pit road this time. So we might be in the business here for green flag pit stops inside 20 to go on the stage.
I'm evilly rubbing my hands together, with these green flag pit stops. We saw Josh Chin just have to make one, just how much of a hard time he had getting on. So we're going to see these guys definitely wrestling these cars getting into the pits here. We saw Parker White starting to reel in Brody Kostecki even more. It's down to 0.2 of a second. So Brody Kostecki's tires are effectively gone on that car. So the 990 under heavy fire right now is further back in this field. We're 3 wide going into turn 3. Michael Cozy Jr., Wyatt Tinsley, Michael Frisch, Kevin King are all right here. This is fantastic stuff by this group of drivers. Kevin McAdams still there. He's did a good job of hanging on to his tires. There you see Briar LaPrade coming on the pit road now. So seeing Briar now on the pit road should open the floodgates for these drivers to start making those green flag stops as we got a battle for the lead.
Chris Sweat's also on the pit lane, and there's the battle. And still side by side, Wyatt Tinsley's coming over the radio. He's pitting this time. Let's see what Parker White decides to do. He stays to the inside, and he's packing air on the left rear. I wish that got him loose. Tinsley, the only one of the leaders to pit this time. Still side by side, back to turn number 1.
And a heck of a battle going on right here. Both of these guys fighting all they can right now. Parker White down on the inside, and you know the tires are screaming on both of these machines as we got one of the cars coming off pit lane right in front of him. Scotty Smith!
Scotty! That's the battle for the lead behind you, Scotty.
It's a Championship 4 driver behind you.
Oh, man.
And Kostecki wants to pit. Is he going to make it? No, black flag. Black flag for Brody Kostecki, speeding on pit road. Either that or he got the cone. Looked to me like it would be speeding for the 990. And I'd have to think that comes down to Scotty Smith being in the way because Kostecki couldn't get to the inside and let Parker White go because of the lap car.
Oh man, dude, I gotta say, like, some of these drivers, like especially the lap down drivers, just need to have better awareness of what's going on around him. I know Scotty's got fresh tires; he's gonna blow by those guys anyway. Malik Ray coming on a pit road, but you gotta be aware of who's around you, especially when you come out of pit road. That could have been disastrous for Parker White, the favorite coming into the championship. His race could have come down to just an error on a lap car. We'll get another look here as there's Scotty coming out, just merges right in front of everybody. Like, you got to know what's going on.
Caution! Caution's out! Caution on the racetrack.
I can't tell
in the
where
middle
it is.
of green flag stops. David L. Brown. David L. Brown spun Dylan Basin at the cause of this. On the front straightaway, Dylan Basin, heard him earlier say he didn't have much on the right rear tire. David L. Brown is a meatball flag, and the caution's out for the first time tonight. Worn tires, it looks like, is our first caution. It all starts with the driver of the 04 in Dylan Basin.
Take a look.
Coming off turn 4. There's...
Hey, whoa, what is going on here?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Let's go back a little further. Watch Basin coming off turn 4.
Oh, you see David Brown, those tires are so shot, he's locked the brakes. And he's
he just gets loose, it looks like.
He's wrecking the whole front straightaway. Remember, he said he didn't have much on the right rear. And Wyatt Tinsley nowhere to go. He catches the wall. And then, oh my, look out. Chris Wetz goes to the outside. Another car went to the inside.
They called that a racing deal?
Yep. Between the 04 and the 83, by the way, Michael Guest has lost connection. He has dropped out. Caution flag for the first time tonight here at Atlanta. We'll get a restart inside 10 to go, stage 1. Stage points don't matter for your championship drivers. Parker White is on pit road, 4 tires. He is down and away. Everybody that stayed out is trapped a lap down. They're going to get the wave around. We will reset the field, and we will have the restart when we come back. You're watching the championship finale of the Barr Visual FTF Cup Series live on FTF.gg.
Back live from the Atlanta Motor Speedway, the championship finale of the 2023 Barr Visuals FTF Cup Series season. Sean Butler, Caleb Hoffman, Jacob Pitts, Zach Johnson here with you. Jacob, we don't know where the heck he went, but he will be back momentarily, hopefully. But field is choosing right now under caution, working our first caution here on lap 59 for an incident between Dylan Basin and David Brown on the front stretch. For those of you who are just joining us, first of all, welcome. Glad you're here. But Caleb, it's been an interesting race to say the least. Definitely kind of playing out as we expected when we were covering on the pre-show.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the big thing here in terms of championship implications is Parker White's going to have control on this restart with fresh tires and should be good to get us to the end of stage number 1. Brody Kostecki did have sole possession of the race lead. Obviously tried to pit after a little bit of a battle with Parker White and Scotty Smith sprinkled in there. Got that penalty on pit road, and now he's going to have to fight his way all the way back up to the top. Going to be interesting to see, though, on this restart if Blake Reynolds has anything for Parker White, though, to try to keep him at bay.
Hey, Jacob.
Here. Yeah. Sorry about that. That pit stop lasted a little longer than I thought it would. Green flag. 7 to go. That's not right. 6 to go.
There we go.
In stage number 1, Parker White gone.
I mean, I've been kind of loosely paying attention to Blake Reynolds in that 66 car as well. He displayed a very, very healthy long run speed in that car. Definitely was kind of doing the same thing Parker White was doing in that first run. So not a surprise to see him up here in that 66. There you see Omar Diallo in that 014. It looks like an 8 on the side of that car for some reason, but that is a 0. But Omar been very strong, and this is where we're going to see everything fan out. Kevin McAdams and Kevin King almost come together. I've said that so many times this season so far, only fitting it happens in the finale, but definitely all positions up for grabs in the top 10.
Here they come off turn 2 down the back straightaway. Blake Reynolds on the inside trying to hold his own. Omar Diallo in that second spot, Cozy in third, Parker White your leader.
And interesting is between the top 3, Cozy was actually the fastest out of all of them that last time by. We'll see if that stands to be true once again. It looks like it was Cozy once again by 1/1000th of a second over Omar Diallo. So really close lap times up here at the front. And when you're running right in somebody's tire tracks, it can be hard to try and break free from that draft, break free from that line, and take that spot. We'll see if they, start to fan out a little bit up here at the front. Looks like Omar Diallo is going to try this middle lane. Does he have the momentum to get to the quarter panel of Parker White? I don't think so.
Got a good run, though. Parker White trying to take his line away. Now Diallo looks to the inside, going to turn number 1. Going for the lead. And Omar Diallo gets it done. New leader.
And we saw this kind of by design in the first run. Parker White just taking it super easy. Blake Reynolds is kind of doing the same thing. Blake restarted in second. He slipped back to 8th there, that red car in the bottom lane. So look for a couple of these guys to have different approaches to this end of the stage. You want to see a lot of guys keeping the tires on the cars, long-term strategies for these guys. But you see guys like Omar Diallo really want to get to the front here, win this stage. Here comes Cozy to the inside. And how about Michael P. Frisch? First time we've seen him up in the top 5 tonight. Has a chance to get ahead of his teammate Parker White.
Yeah, I think Parker White looked in the mirror and his eyes got as wide as dinner plates, seeing 2 playoff drivers right behind him. Not Cozy, but Frisch and Falkingham. Here comes Kevin King to the outside. No, sorry, Kevin McAdams to the outside. Parker White looking for the lead. 1 lap to go in stage 1.
All over each other right now, side by side, and a run for Parker White as he goes into turn number 1 there. 3 wide for second behind him. A big move for Kevin McAdams all the way up to that outside retaining wall with that momentum. Parker White going up with a big block. And now can he hold off Kevin McAdams for the stage win?
5 million stage wins for the 011 of Parker White. Can he make it 5 million in 1? Kevin McAdams is going to make this a fight to the finish. Side by side to the checkered flag. Kevin McAdams will win stage 1 at Atlanta. What a finish.
And if I know Kevin, he's going to back off immediately and say, all right, you guys have at it. I got my stage win. Now, keep in mind, those of you might be asking, what the heck are these guys fighting, for stage wins for if they're not in the championship for? They still are battling for position in the top 10 of the points. So you definitely want to find out you know, who's, I don't want to say the best of the rest, but, you know, you want to get as best a finish in the season as you can. As McAdams now gets a shot from Michael Frisch off of turn number 4. And Kevin definitely trying to save those tires now, on board with Frisch. Has a face full of cheddars right now and not eating at the restaurant. But here comes Frisch around the outside. And oh, look, we got the cameras all taped to Frisch's car this week.
All over. Look at that.
The Moonhead logo.
360. Yeah. He's going all the way looking for the lead. You're right on board with the 58. Not quite going to get to the outside of the 11.
Purple.
Now look to the inside here into turn number 1.
A big move here from Michael P. Frisch. He's going to take this momentum and take the lead in turn number 1. Be clear by a little bit. It's going to open the door for Brian LaPrat as well. Really had to bite my tongue there at the end of stage 1 and not say one of them classic Atlanta finishes, but it felt exactly like it. We'll have to see if anybody else can maybe try to use that towards the end of this race. Meanwhile, Brian LaPrat taking that second spot away from Parker White. He may have to fend off Omar Diallo as well here in the coming laps as they cross the stripe to get lap 69.
Frisch out in front. Brian LaPrat right behind. Carson Hocevar has parked the race car. That was that smoke a couple laps to go on the front straightaway. He just came to a sliding stop up against the outside wall and towed it back to pit road. So Frisch out in front, side by side for the 5th spot. Whoa, Cozy on the outside. He's loose with Kevin King on the bottom.
And a good call, Trisha. She's in the chat. She's been in there every week. So big shout out to Trisha. Been very active. Love seeing her in there, cheering her son on in the race. Cheered for Parker. But yes, Trisha, Kevin is up to P5 now, as she mentioned earlier there. So we'll now P6. He's fighting with Cozy here. But great job by Kevin to get into this top 5. We said he would be there at some point, and here he is. But Jacob, to your point earlier about Parker, I think you're absolutely right from what you said earlier. Parker, we saw him kind of get up to the front. They kind of slow down a little bit, cool the tires off, but then he looked and saw they were 2, 3 wide for numerous rows back. And he said, I can't be back there at this point, so he's got to maintain his positions up there. So I think that's exactly what he's doing. But shout out to Frisch here as well. I mean, we mentioned he is no slouch at this track as well. Got up to the lead, and he's trying to take advantage of the clean air, just like Brody Kostecki was. And hopefully use that to his advantage to keep the tires cool. But definitely the racing getting very, very interesting around this 5th, 6th, and 7th spot on that.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's as calm as we saw at the start of the race. It's picked up a little bit toward the front of the field, maybe because they know they can do green flag runs and they won't get as much passing done now while they're all together. But Frisch is long gone trying to set the pace, but we know how well Frisch saved on that first run. We'll see what happens on this second run, if maybe he goes over the edge a little too much and pushes too much. As here comes Kevin King, 3 wide to turn 1. Look at this.
Very tight there for Kevin on the bottom. Is he going to make it work? Cozy's going to fall in line. They sort it out. So definitely a moment there between Kevin King, Falkingham, and Cozy. And for those of you wanting to get a Brody Kostecki update, yes, that is Aussie supercar driver Brody Kostecki. He's been very active in FTF, has a win this year as a sub. Currently, after that black flag penalty, back in 38th, 1 lap down. So, but he is in the lucky dog position. So if you were to get a caution now and he's not involved in it, he would be back on the lead lap. But we saw just how fast he was on the short run in the first part of this race. So definitely worth it to watch him and see where he is on the racetrack. But right here, Michael P. Frisch leading, and everyone's starting to single file out behind. Frisch is the only one.
Oh,
Jeez,
Rocky Floyd is mowing the grass. Look out.
That happens a lot here at Atlanta. He's able to keep it going. But I was going to say, Jacob, it's calming down. But after that, never mind.
Yeah, and I'm sure those tires aren't necessarily cooled off right now for the 16. Just kind of chillax. Let the car come back to him. Don't make any moves that you're going to wind up regretting in a lap. Still seems out of control.
Hey, Caleb's back.
He
Hello.
is.
Where did he go?
Same hot dog stand I went to, I guess.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, not in Martinsville, but it's all right. Scott Ricard using the outside wall there. Outside lane, at least. Rocky Boyd going to slide back in front of him. And you mentioned that you see a lot of, sliding through the infield grass here at Atlanta, and that is very true, especially when you're throwing blocks like Rocky Boyd is right there.
Man.
And Boyd's had speed this season, just hasn't had many opportunities to show it off, as your prediction came true there, Sean, and Kevin just drop into the back immediately after that stage win. It's only been about 12 laps, and he's all the way back here.
Maybe he's just trying to save. Wanted to race for the stage win, and then, okay, let's back off, cool the tires off, and maybe go out a little longer than everybody else if we get another run of green flag pit stops. Because there's always the potential, like we saw in that first run, with older tires, all it takes is one mistake to bring out a caution. And if you haven't come to pit road, you're in good shape. If you have visited pit road, you're in trouble, and you're going to have to take the wave around.
Why is Malik back here? I didn't. He was up front when the caution came out. I don't know why Malik has been marred back here, but he's cutting his way back up through the field. So definitely kind of a head scratcher there to see what happened to Malik. Maybe like a pit error or something, but he's got to cut his way back up, which he most certainly will. Definitely one of the more skilled drivers and a Coke driver in here, so he knows what he's doing for sure. But I think what we were kind of talking about earlier, Caleb, with Kevin, and we were talking about Parker for a little bit, and especially Blake Reynolds, I think, too, is going to be doing the exact same thing. So Blake Reynolds on that restart was right up there, restarted second, and was definitely fighting up there, but he kind of backed off a little bit, and he's currently just chilling right behind Wyatt Tinsley right now to keep those tires on that number 66. But keep an eye on those two, especially Blake Reynolds, Kevin McAdams. They're probably trying to keep the tires on as long as they possibly can to be there at the end of the run. So if these guys were to stay exactly where they are, Blake Reynolds should have no problem kind of slicing his way up to the field as everybody else's tires start to degrade.
Yeah, I mean, it's something to keep in mind for sure. Most everybody came, I think the early guys on pit road, it was around lap 49-ish, 50-ish, somewhere around there. And we're only about, 15, 20 laps shy of that for, again, some of those guys that stayed out early on. And so here within the next 15 or 20 laps, at least before the end of the stage, we're going to be seeing a lot more cars down pit road, and hopefully we don't get a caution so we can see that cycle fully play through. But going to be something to keep in mind, especially for these playoff drivers all within the top 10 right now. It's going to be keeping an eye on what your three competitors are going to be up to here strategy-wise.
Checking in on Michael Guest. He is back on the racetrack. He is 40th, 2 laps down after a connection issue under our last caution. So he is back out on the racetrack, but 2 laps down. It'll take a bit till he gets back on the lead lap. Brody Kostecki, after speeding on pit road before the caution, he is still a lap down. John Poole is also a lap down. Then there's Guest 2 down. Jake Poulin, he's chilling on pit road right now. He is 9 laps down and counting out of the race. Carson Hocevar and Tyler J. Williams. Battle up front for the lead. Briar LaPrade trying to get by Michael P. Frisch for the top spot to turn 1.
And Frisch has been committed to that middle lane throughout this run since the drop of the green flag for the restart. He's been kind of working that middle lane, keeping that number 58 Chevrolet pinned to that lane. Briar LaPrade been working that bottom lane. It's going to be tough for Briar to make this pass. Frisch has been very, very good in that middle lane. Parker White right there working the bottom. I'm not quite sure if Frisch is handling is how he wants it right now, because that middle lane may be wearing his tires a little bit more than the bottom lane is that Briar's running. So Briar looking to go inside into turn number 1 for the lead. And if I'm Frisch, I want to keep this clean air, but at the same time, you got to be cognizant of the championship. He's leading the championship right now, but all it takes is for him to overexert those tires a little too much, and that 011 could be slipping on by before he knows it.
It's almost better just to let Briar go here and get back in line than it is to try and fight him. Oh, and he's loose on the outside. Good hang on there from Frisch. But here comes Parker White as Brian LaPrade takes the lead.
And it's going to be interesting here to see if Frisch can hold off the 011. I mean, he's going to cut down to that inside lane. And compared to how Frisch's line was going, it's going to make it look like a hot knife through butter. And now Parker White back up into the tire tracks of the number 58 machine. Just running in line right now. Maybe not trying to put as much stress on those tires in case he has to take it. We'll see Frisch just all over the place right now. And it's something to keep in mind that Parker White on that first run really started to come alive on the tail end of it rather than being good at the very initial start of that run.
It's been about 30 laps since these drivers were last on pit road, so maybe 27 laps at speed on these tires. Is Frisch, he's got a handful right now. Gets past for second. Here comes Omar Diallo to the outside for third.
Oh boy, so we see this middle lane kind of go away for some of these guys. Frisch has kind of given up on it as we see him just work back down to the bottom, and he might be the latest one to overexert those tires. We've been talking about it ad nauseum all race. He's still in that middle lane, maybe trying to see if that'll come back to him later on. But definitely want to see how potentially Frisch falls back with those tires. A little further back, another guy I had my eyes on, Blake Reynolds, is starting to move his way up, looking underneath Wyatt Tinsley back there. This is for the 8th position. Blake feels it's time to go. Wyatt might be losing a little grip there. Dylan Basin right behind them. We saw him. Dylan Basin always has like some of the best pace in the field, and he always gets involved in some unfortunate wreck, it seems. But Basin right back in there at the top 10, right back where he left off. So I think this is about where we're going to see the comers and goers start to shuffle their way through the field.
Still under halfway to stage 2. Stage 2 ends lap 130. About 50 laps till we get to that point. A little less than that now. Brian LaPrade out in front. Parker White second. Omar Diallo third. Michael P. Frisch is fourth. Kevin King is fifth. Daniel Falkingham is sixth. So all 4 championship drivers inside the top 6. 3 wide, a little further back. Basin ripping the top. Got Cozy in there as well in that green and purple car.
And that's something to look out for sure, is again, everybody starts to fan out. Look at Falkingham peeking to the inside of Kevin King here, trying to break not only into third in championship standings, but into the top 5 for the overall race standings as well. Kevin King doing a fantastic job to fend him off, and also running with Michael P. Frisch as well. And you can see Frisch really trying to run that outside part of the racetrack as much as he can. But Kevin King, I think, is slowly but surely chipping away at it. Might be looking to make a move here within the next few laps.
He's trying. It's also got Kevin King right behind him. Frisch trying to hold on. And here comes Kevin King. Looking for that 4th spot.
Kevin underneath Frisch. Believe it or not, those are not team cars. Got the same make, same number font. Not team cars, believe it or not, as Frisch wiggling his way off the corner. Here comes Falkingham to the inside. 3 of the 4 playoff drivers all right here fighting for the 4th position. And we've seen Kevin do it time and time again, making his way up through this field. Tires right now, I think, has an advantage to Kevin. Don't really know what Parker White is looking like right now tires-wise, but we'll see in a few laps here. But so far, it looks like Kevin King, out of all 4 of the drivers, has had the best long-run speed thus far.
Trying to get by that 014 of Omar Diallo down the Ford right in front of him, all black.
And you can see, I mean, if you are Kevin King right now, all in front of Omar Diallo that you see is Parker White. You're not even really concerned with Brian LaPrade, I think. And, you know, you got to, again, be careful not to use up all of your tires right here trying to get past one car. You see Kevin King taking a little bit of a different line here, maybe trying to cross Diallo over off of turn number 2. What a great move there. He's going to have not only the inside, but the momentum as well. Now he might even be able to get to the back of Parker White here in a 3.
But it's so easy if you're Kevin King. You see the driver you need to beat in front of you. It's so easy to overdrive the car now and burn the tires off trying to get to him It's still a long way to go. We have more than 100 laps left in this race. You're not going to win the championship now, but you sure can lose it right now.
And that just goes to show the veteran prowess of Kevin King. You saw on the line there, he ran at 1 and 2, entered high, ducked it down low to get that run off the corner so we can get to the inside of Omar Diallo. And Omar says, here you go, Kevin, have at it. Those two pretty good friends on the racetrack, so not much of a battle there. But Kevin appears to be pushing it a little extra right now. He's gotten right to the rear bumper of Parker White. Oh, and he nearly runs him over. Go again to turn 1. We've seen Parker White. He's told us this before, especially at Martinsville, where he is very prone to just lifting early, getting an easy entry into the corner, preserving those front tires. But definitely almost saw that come back to bite him as King to the inside of Parker White, battle for second, and more importantly, the battle for P1 in the championship.
Kevin King a little loose there on the bottom. Advantage goes to Parker White. For now.
We talked to Kevin King pre-race, and he said Parker White's just so calm, cool, and collected. He's got to have to do something to get him uncomfortable. And Parker White, he's not going to love Kevin King all over his back bumper for the next, 20 or so laps if Kevin King will be able to pull that off. And that's the whole goal, is not just to get past him, but to make him uncomfortable while doing it. So that way, you get that mental game going and try to force him into making mistakes.
Buckingham trying to get by Omar Diallo. That's right behind these. Trouble. Rocky Boyd, front straightaway. He's not the only one in it. It's Boyd and Ashlim.
Wow.
And the caution's out for the second time tonight.
Ashlim with some pretty significant damage as well. Looks like the front end might be ripped off that 11 car.
Started with those two. Those aren't the only two involved in it. Brody Kostecki has damage to the front end of his race car.
Oh, man.
That's Justin Lisenby with damage as well. Here's the replay.
That's the caution he needed, too. So let's see what happened. Rocky Boyd in that blue and white car. Ashland does get loose off the corner. Rocky got loose. Both of them did. Ashland saved it. And Rocky just kind of had that lazy loose off the corner, drifted into Jonathan, and sent both of those cars hard into the wall. Kostecki got a little bit of a piece of it. I think his car might be okay. There you see just a little bit of a lazy hook.
Oh.
I think Brody might be okay. Not too much damage, if any, on that car. But obviously, the 11 and the 16 got the worst of that. That is, if you want to wreck anywhere for some reason on this track, that is not where you want to off of turn 4.
Oh. See Michael Guest. He's getting a lap back. Pit road is open, and gentlemen, it's a very busy place.
Yeah, I don't know. It's got to be a pretty easy call here for sure. I mean, I think it's going to be 4 tires and fuel for everybody around, courtesy of being almost 42 laps into that run. So, again, 4 tires and fuel, you got to imagine for everybody. It's just about execution with your little virtual pit guys at this point.
Let's see who's going to win this race off of pit road. Breyer's out of his stall. Now here comes Parker. It'll be a drag race, but Breyer's got the edge, and Breyer LaPrade wins the race off pit road. Then it's Parker White, then Diallo, Falkingham, Frisch, and Kevin King.
Brody Kostecki stay out?
He may have.
Being shown in second right now. He just took the waiver round.
Kevin King on that stop had to back up in his box, and because of it, he lost 3 spots. Passed by Diallo, passed by Frisch, and passed by Falkingham. He drops from second to last of the championship 4 drivers. He came in third. Comes out now 8th with Rocky Boyd. It's showing Rocky Boyd as your race leader. And here comes Kostecki.
Yeah, Brody and Rocky are coming in. So Rocky was given an EOL penalty, by the way. So we'll take a look at these pit stops. So let's look at Kevin King. First off, sliding a little too far. Really? That gave him too far forward?
Right. Yeah, it wasn't much, but just enough. And it cost him 3 spots on pit road.
It looked like he was still in the box. I mean, the car behind him was clearly too far forward. That should have been, obviously, iRacing giving him that. So that is a I don't know about that on iRacing's part. That is questionable, but as long as the damage wasn't too bad for Kevin King, we've seen he's more than capable of making those spots up, especially in the top 10.
Kevin McAdams is trying to share a Chuck E. Cheese Hendrick Motorsports hat with people, and he is swerving. And apparently people are on the apron, and they're supposed to get off the apron, get off the apron. Yeah, so that's about all you've missed so far.
Kevin, what are you doing?
What am I doing?
Yes.
So I don't know why, I was checking my phone, and I noticed that there is a Hendrick Motorsports Chuck E. Cheese hat for sale on New Era Cap. And it's so fitting because of Chase Elliott. I hope it's his sponsor.
Why do you say it's fitting?
Because he's Mickey Mouse.
Why? Why do you say that?
2020.
Okay. Wow.
What was it? Was it a bubble championship, Kevin?
Yeah.
Is that what you're trying to say? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yep.
Goodness gracious. Jacob just put it in our chat, and that...
Are we able to get this up on the screen? Is that a thing that can happen?
Oh yeah, Zach can do that magic.
Yeah, press the button, Zach.
We've got time.
It says buying that.
They're choosing right now, so we're not missing much.
Did you guys see my stage win?
We did.
We did. That was very exciting.
We saw you plummet through the field by design.
Yeah, I went to save my tires, and then the caution came out. So
that's how it works.
Yeah, we saw you in the stage, and then we didn't see you again.
Nope.
All right. All
right, Zach. You're running out of time here. Half a lap to green.
Oh my.
Let's get it up there.
Go not.
Add that. There it is.
All right.
There it is.
What is that, dude? Oh God. All right, get out of here, Kevin. Thanks for being here.
Where a kid can be a kid. All right, there you go.
Oh. Where's the Blockbuster hat?
Radio Shack?
Oh no. Get Justin.
But those exist. Those exist. Still. After all these years, Radio Shack is still functioning. All right. 33 laps to go. Green flag. Something like that. No, 28 laps to go. I'm getting all crossed up here. Either way, we're racing.
For the record, there is one Blockbuster left. I just want to put that out there. But not a good restart for Parker White there on the outside. He's doesn't fall too far back. 3 wide off the corner. One guy to the wall back there. A couple of them. I think one's having throughput issues back there.
Yeah, that's Malik. Meanwhile, for the championship, in second, Daniel Falkingham, Parker White.
He just crossed the stripe there and officially puts us halfway through the distance of the Barr Visuals FTF Cup Series Championship race here at Atlanta. Brian LaPrade trying to fend off 2 of your contending drivers right now. Falkingham going to dip back in the line down the back straightaway. Maybe just try to pick up some momentum going into turn number 3. And you can see him early in this run. We haven't seen it very often fanning out in the corners. You usually see that when they're searching for grip by the end of the run. But now we got guys that are all the way up against that outside wall.
2 drivers from Maine up here duking it out. And here comes Diallo. Now Dylan Basin to the outside. Some new names popping up here.
Dylan Basin doing what he's done throughout this entire race. Just rip that middle to top lane and just wait for the tires to melt off of it. But he's enjoying the speed while it lasts, hoping for a quick caution, maybe keep him up here. But Basin to the outside of Falkingham for 3rd. He's going to jump to the outside of Parker White for 2nd. And I think all these guys are going to be like, have at it, Dylan. We'll see in 10 laps.
Calm down, at least for the moment. Dylan Basin taking the 2nd spot. Parker White 3rd, Falkingham 4th, Kevin King in 5th. Frisch stuck back in 8th.
And you can see this right now. Wyatt Tinsley was really, really hot at the beginning of this run, and it has kind of started to cool down. Still running on the very cusp of this top 10, but earlier was a part of that group that was chasing down Brody Kostecki when he had his astounding almost 2-second lead. Blake Reynolds as well here with 98 laps to go at Atlanta. And for the most part throughout the field right now, not seeing much side by side besides this group that is at the very tail end of your screen. Otherwise, it seems very, very calm for the most part at the front here for the time being.
Will you leave Caleb alone, Jacob?
What?
Will you stop poking fun at him whenever you can?
When he said Brack straight away, and I said, can he Brack straight away?
Yes.
Oh, boy.
It's all the time, Sean. It's between Jacob and Zach. I've made sure that I know that I'm not wanted here at FTF.GG.
Wow.
It's all right.
Really, really welcoming vibe Jacob Hicks gives off.
It's all right. I still own the blunder that is not part of the top 5 worst things that happened in a race. And I will take that all the way to the grave. They are 4 wide in the back of the pack. Brody Kostecki. And he's going to get into Alex Balderas. Rocky Boyd's on the apron, and Balderas is getting bullied back here for 21st.
Brody is back on the lead lap, and he is trying to make his way up through this field again.
He's getting blocked.
I don't think that's very wise from Drew here. We're looking on board from Alex Balderas. He's a little bit further back here on this, and he has a worried look on his face for what he's looking at right now. But Alex doing a good job where he's at. He is the head of a pack himself. He's got Jack Mace right behind him, Lawson Peels back there, Malik Ray and Michael Guest. So big names are in the middle of this group right now. There he is. He acknowledges he's on camera.
You gotta focus your camera there. Come on, Alex.
Justin turned his chat off. I think that's why he's upset.
He's right in the front of a pack and waving to the cameras. He's on the broadcast. So multitasking Alex Balderas. Love to see it.
Look, Ma, no hands.
At least one on the wheel for now.
Back toward the front, Michael Cozy Jr. trying to challenge Parker White for the 3rd spot. Not good enough. Daniel Falkingham now trying to capitalize right behind him.
You can see Cozy looking to the outside for just a second there on Parker White. Omar Diallo really the lone wolf up on that high side at the moment. 93 laps to go, and Daniel Falkingham still running in the tire tracks of the number 49 machine of Michael Cozy Jr. And Cozy as well, he's somebody that really would like a win on the 2023 campaign, not only to build momentum for himself, but it's been a while since he's been to victory lane here in the Barr Visuals FTF Cup Series.
Comes this outside line, led by Omar Diallo. You've got Tinsley and Frisch up there, as Frisch gets back by the 88 of Kevin King for 3rd in the championship. And now here comes Lisenby, Blake Reynolds back into the mix. It's a fun battle in the back half of the top 10.
As the legendary Jim Ross always said, business is picking up here. Just outside or in the top 10 right now is just up front. Dylan Basin looks to the outside of Briar LaPrade for the lead. Michael Cozy Jr. to the inside of Parker White. As Basin, I'm very surprised. We saw how hard he was pushing that car on the restart, but Basin able to keep the tires under it for the most part for now, and he's put that 04 in the win to P1, so he clears Briar LaPrade off of turn 4. Clear enough, I guess. So Dylan Basin to P1.
See how long he can maintain it. Good battle further back. You've got Blake Reynolds up there. Chris Wetz joining the party in that 71. Been an up and down season for him. Justin Lisenby is there in the 131. All behind the 4 championship drivers.
Really had my eye on the last few laps. Car in the 7th position right now, and Wyatt Tinsley trying to fend off 2 championship Ford drivers in Kevin King and Michael P. Frisch. He's been able to make it work the past few laps somehow, but big blocks out of turns 1 and 2 for that quick trip machine. Down the backstretch once again, tried it. Couldn't quite do it that time. And now Michael Cozy to his inside. Look at Kevin King and Michael P. Frisch falling into formation behind him. Might be trying to make something work on this outside lane.
I have a quick request from producer Zach Johnson. Can we get a roof cam of Brody Kostecki? Because I want to see how he's maneuvering this back here. Here we go. So he has been a man on a mission since the drop of the green flag in this restart. He's back on the lead lap, and I want to see what he does to get by Justin Lisenby and Brandon Hawking. He's going to push Brandon right here, going into 3, all over the back bumper, nearly forced him to hit the wall. And for those of you just joining us, Brody was our pole sitter, had a significant lead at the start of this race, but got an unfortunate black flag during green flag pit stops, and he's thrown everything but the kitchen sink at the field right now to bust his way back up through this pack. And Jacob, I'd say he's doing a fantastic job of doing it right now, up to P13.
Continues just to plow his way forward.
Literally, almost.
Yeah, I wouldn't rule him out to win this race if he's able to keep the nose clean and we get a late race restart, because he's proven he has the short to medium run speed, but once he burns the tires off that thing, he starts to fall back a little bit.
And been just a spectacle to watch Brody Kostecki again, just crawling his way up through this field, using every ounce of racetrack he can right now, and might see it again. He's, made it 4 wide a little while ago, and we saw him there all over the back bumper of Brandon Hawken, trying to break his way back into the top 10 at this point. And again, had a dominating win back at Road America earlier this season, trying to get it done on an oval now with Lisenby to his outside fighting back. Again, just got to be careful when you're racing that aggressively here at a track like Old Atlanta to not wear the tires off of it, because if that happens, you're going to have to do all this work again, because it's going to be like anchor's attached to the back of that machine as he's underneath Blake Reynolds off turn 2, and you can see that thing already starting to slip and slide around the racetrack.
About did the bump and run in Atlanta.
Tried it with Hawken, too.
Oh, Wet's left him room.
Well, not a lot, though. Whoa,
oh, look at the wiggle! 3 wide!
Oh, boy. I know the wiggles are from down under, but that doesn't mean you have to do them on the racetrack here.
What a pull there, Jacob.
Good one, Jacob. Wow. Unbelievable.
Oh, and he's still loose. Oh, my goodness. Wetz is getting out of here.
Jordan Worth right there. Kevin McAdams. Michael Guest. So everyone's kind of converging on this storm, if you will, in the pack. So this is the eye of it, literally, right now. But Brody did a good job of getting his way through there. Slipped back a little bit, but he's in the clear for now. He's got Seth Nola ahead, Justin Lisenby, Blake Reynolds. Look at this group. Kevin McAdams has not left that top lane, it seems, the entire race. He's committed to being up there. Accurate, Jamie, in the chat. Very accurate.
Get out of my way.
And this is...
So pacing out in front by about a quarter of a second over LaPrade. Then Parker White first in the championship battle. You've got Diallo right behind. Then Falkingham, Kevin King, Frisch, Cozy, Hawken, and Tinsley are top 10. Inside 10 to go in the second stage.
And again, all of a sudden, all 4 of these playoff drivers are pretty much under a blanket right now, with the exception of Omar Diallo right there in the 4th position. But, I mean, you can see them all in frame right there, nose to tail. Running pretty even lap times within not only that Championship 4 group, but the top 10 as a whole. Not really much of a fall off between them. Seeing lots of similar looks as you see Brian LaPrade looking to the inside of Basin to try to steal this lead away with 81 laps to go off turn number 4. Peeking to the inside, I think Basin's going to have that run. But all of a sudden, this could open the door for somebody like Parker White to steal the lead away with both Basin and LaPrade side by side out of turn number 2.
What the heck
Basin's
did Zach just put in the group?
More Chuck E. Cheese.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, if you're wondering why if you were wondering why the camera movements were slower than usual, Zach was doing some research.
Ugh.
Investigative reporting.
Oh, Basin!
Oh, and here comes Parker White.
Parker. 3 wide up the middle for the lead.
He's about to snipe this thing away, Jacob. He's using that middle lane, might get that momentum back going. If he can get to the throttle sooner than LaPrade, he's going to be gone.
It'll be tough. He has the run on the outside. We'll see how deep Brian drives it in. Coming to 5 to go in stage number 2 here at Atlanta. And don't rule out Basin if he can just have grip on the outside. He's not out of this yet. They're in the wall. Parker in the wall as well as Basin. Falkingham takes third, 5 to go.
The gloves are off in stage 2 at Atlanta. Again, this is not even for the championship. This is just to win the stage. Parker White slapping the wall, very uncharacteristic there. Briar LaPrade's going to clear him. Falkingham now has a great chance to capitalize on this. On board with him in the number 054 Interstate Batteries Toyota. But man, that is just every one of these guys up at the front going for it. I mean, it's so treacherous off of turn 4. We can't stress enough just how unsettled these cars are. Can we get a track temperature update, Zach, if you got the button ready right there? I'm curious to
God.
see. 151?
151?
This is ridiculous. It started out at 137, and that's hot enough. But
Yep.
we can cook a steak on this racetrack right now.
We can go higher.
We could.
In an hour and a half, the track temperature has gone up 14 degrees.
That is ridiculous.
3 to go here in stage number 2. The battle is not done for second. It might be, though, for the stage win as Briar's putting a little bit of distance between himself and Parker White. Now Parker White maybe cooled the tires off. He got a great run through 1 and 2 that time by.
It's going to be something to monitor for sure. You saw Blake Reynolds all the way up against that wall, about as high as you can go, trying to find any sort of speed to mount a charge at the end of this stage. Like you said, it might be done for LaPrade, but Falkingham and Parker White here, you know Falkingham's going to be trying to use that pressure and put it all on the 011 right now as they cross the stripe once again going into turn number 1.
Look at Blake Reynolds way up there on the outside, just sending it. Diallo going to try and get to the outside. No, Falkingham shuts the door. Great move by the 054 to try and keep everybody behind him. Coming to the last lap in stage 2.
Look at Omar Diallo right ahead in that black car. He is all over the 054 of Falkingham, looking to make some noise at the end of stage 2. Parker White blocks him off on the top side. White flag is out in stage 2. 1 to go. Parker White chopping the nose of Daniel Falkingham, and that's going to open the door for Diallo.
Well, and Parker White got loose coming off 4 that last time by. That's what gave everybody the momentum. Here they come into 3. Where will Diallo go? Parker White takes the outside line. Briar LaPrade is going to handily win stage number 2. Who's going to get second on back? It'll be Parker White. Stage points don't matter here for the championship drivers. Falkingham comes home 4th. Kevin King 5th. Frisch 7th. And now we take it 73 laps the distance. Parker White in second, leading the championship. Briar LaPrade, he is in first, leading the race. 73 laps to go. The remainder of the championship race from Atlanta is coming your way next here on FTF.GG. While we were away, some good racing here. Second on back, Omar Diallo applying the pressure to Parker White. It's opened up the door for Kevin King and company there in the 88, the 054, the 58. The gang's all here. They keep knocking, but they're not allowed to come in right now. Parker White continues to have a stranglehold over the championship.
Parker doing a fantastic job right now, just keeping everybody at bay. Omar Diallo has not even been able to get alongside of him. As we see Blake Reynolds down the backstretch looking inside of Michael Cozy Jr. rather. He's going to fall back in line, and Parker's kind of migrated up to that middle lane. It's been funny to watch. I don't want to say funny, but like interesting to watch whoever's like in the lead of a group of cars is committed to running that middle lane to try to fend everybody off to get that run off the corner. As we see Michael Frisch go way to the outside of Daniel Falkingham. That is for fifth. And Frisch going to try to use that downhill momentum off the corner, but he doesn't quite have it.
He just gets to the air off the back of the 054 Falkingham and has nowhere to go. Down the back straightaway. Diallo, though, he's not afraid to race these championship four. All over the back bumper of the 011 of Parker White, and he's done everything but wreck him in the last 10 laps.
Oh, boy.
And you got to be really careful. I mean, Omar Diallo really wants his second position right now, and Parker White's made a few very aggressive moves to chop the nose off the 014. And again, Diallo's not somebody that's going to be afraid to lift, so you got to be very careful. Even though you are a championship driver here, you don't want to ruin 14-win season just because you're trying to battle for second with 66 laps to go.
$66.65 laps to go in the Barr Visual FTF Cup Series season. We're back in January at Daytona. You'll see the first half of the year on our friends at Bottom Split. We'll pick it up the second half of the year. Here, contact between the two second-place cars. Parker White saves it somehow.
A potential championship-saving save by Parker White. Unbelievable. How in the world did he keep that car straight? Omar Diallo, we mentioned not afraid to race these championship drivers, maybe getting a little impatient there with Parker White, but you see Briar LaPrade is just checking out from this group, and Omar wants to be able to have at least a shot at him, but Parker White remaining patient almost had the championship ripped away from him there.
That was dicey.
And off of turn 2 there, Brody Kostecki as well tagged the outside wall just for a second. You see Omar Diallo going back down to the inside. Thinking about taking it. Another effect that had as well, it's grouped up all the Championship 4 drivers even closer than they already were. Kevin King all over the back bumper, that 014 now. And he has Falkingham and Frisch in line behind him. Diallo's going to go up a little higher. You see Wyatt Tinsley, Cozy as well, 3 wide behind him. And all 4 of these championship drivers, it's been this way for, say, the last 50 or so laps, all under a blanket, is now Jordan Wirtz on the pit road.
Oh, God. Here we go.
Yep. He's the first driver to hit pit road under this stint. It's been about 43 laps since the leaders were coming onto pit road.
I think Carson Hocevar has hopped out of his car and jumped on the box for Jordan Wirtz because they're in our Discord channel right now, just chilling, the two of them, and I see him in there. So they might be colluding with this strategy call, or this might just be one of Jordan's trademark, just wacky, unnecessary strategy calls. We'll see how this works. But right back here, we have not taken our eyes off of this battle. Here comes Kevin King to the outside of Omar Diallo, not quite able to make that move. Falkingham will fall back in line. So this group has by far been the most aggressive that we've seen all race. I mean, keep in mind, there's a lot of talented guys in this group. Our Championship 4 are all right here. But a lot of Coke guys, borderline Coke guys, and there's an Aussie supercar driver back there too involved in this. So there's a lot of talent just in this group alone.
And just like that, they've all stretched out single file. Briar LaPrade has more than a 1.5 lead over Parker White in second, and it is strung out throughout this group. You've got Michael Guest trying to get to the outside of Chris Wetz. Wetz is a lap car. Other than that, it's all single file for the most part. Here comes Falkingham, though, to the inside of Kevin King. At least he's trying to. King holds on.
Another quiet resurgence has been Michael Guest, who fell out earlier on and has worked his way back up inside the top 10. And we know he's going to have a lot of speed. And again, another guy that's not going to be afraid to mix it up with these Championship Ford drivers given the opportunity. You see Wetz, again, just flying through the field right now. And the difference in corner speed right now is just astounding. And if you're a Championship Ford driver, you know, when do you want to make that move to come down onto the pit lane right now, about 50 laps in to your stint?
Well, from here, I would think you're going to try and just split it. See him pit here in the next 5 laps and try and make it to Kevin King! What a slide and save for the 88.
Uncharacteristic for Kevin King. Another great save. We've seen a great save out of half of our Championship 4 already in this race. That just shows how hard they are pushing this. So Kevin knows he has to calm down a little bit and cool those rear tires back off. But I want to. Can we get him back on the screen, Zach? I want to see if he still has his hat on. I want to take a look at that again. He took it off,
No!
Kevin. No. Oh, he's focused now. We saw him have the oversized ball cap on, but at the start of the race. But he is all business now, is what I see there. So he knows what's at stake for this, and that was a heck of a moment for sure for Kevin King.
Wyatt Tinsley getting by Michael P. Frisch. Meanwhile, Falkingham trying to get by Omar Diallo. This is for the 3rd spot.
And again, got to be very careful here when racing this 014. We saw the lengths he's willing to go to make up these spots and hold on to them. Falkingham, though, with a little bit of a run down the backstretch, tried to carry it down on the inside. I just don't think he's going to have the arc that he needs. Diallo's going to get the run off turn number 4 and be clear of the 054 now. Falkingham's going to have to recollect, not only get back to the back bumper of the 014, but hold off a surging Wyatt Tinsley as well.
Justin Lisenby off the pace. He's on pit road. And we're going to try and go 3 wide for 3rd. Keyword is try. Diallo holds on for now.
Wyatt Tinsley, though, like you were saying, trying. He's made up a couple spots using that high lane. So Wyatt, we've seen, has some long run speed. Trying to get to the outside of Omar Diallo. I think as this run goes on, Jacob, as this race goes on especially, this outside line is going to be the preferred passing lane. We've seen guys just not be able to get the drive off the corners, especially off of turn 4, to make those passes. So we're going to see these guys fight to the outside like we see Wyatt doing. But he's making that inside work for now, but you just see that run that Omar gets off of turn 4. It's going to be, might need a couple laps to make a pass if you're going to try the bottom.
Oh, look at Jordan Worth.
Yep.
Flying on those fresh tires.
A la Chris Wetz.
Yeah, I mean, you'll see here, it's just not even close. Parker White's got to give Jordan Worth room on the inside just to be able to operate. And Bryant LaPrade has built himself a nice little lead, and mentioned earlier that we should be seeing everybody come down within the next, got to say 5 or 10 laps, maybe a little longer in case, you know, they want to save for a potential overtime.
Well, what you could do here is you could try and make your tires last a little bit longer so you have fresher tires later in the run, but you run the risk of those new tires just flying right by you, and then you have a lot of room that you have to catch up in the closing 5 or so laps when the tires balance out. So I think the best way to do it, Sean, correct me if I'm wrong, is pit early. You don't want to wait to pit.
Maybe later in the race, because we've seen just how important tires are with Jordan Worth and Chris Wetz being examples A and B for this. We saw just how much they flew by these guys on fresh tires. Now, if you try to short pit, you can. We've seen that work in the past, but you got to bank on it going green for a while, because if you pit too soon and the guys ahead of you come in, grab their tires, and just run you down and blow right by you, it's going to be all for naught. So you really got to be cognizant of when you do pit, because it'll definitely make or break your race. And we like these. Strategy races are always fun to watch. They might be a little bit boring on the racetrack sometimes, as we see Parker's just fighting that car. But strategy races, especially this one, make or break seasons. And we will definitely see how this one shakes out. But these guys are just going at it so hard. Parker White fending these guys off.
Wyatt Tinsley sent it into turn number 3, and I thought we were going to have a reenactment of what Diallo did a couple laps ago. He just sent it in there, and it did not work. And now they're going to pay the price as Parker White pulls away and almost 3 wide back here for this third spot. Hang on. Oh, boy.
Tinsley had that momentum on the outside with Diallo in tow, and now Diallo's going to use that momentum and try to push it even further up the racetrack. Doesn't quite have the real estate to make that move. Tinsley going to chop his nose off, but both of them going to get by
turn 4. Malik Ray is around in front of the field, and the caution's going to come out, maybe? Yes, caution's out. Malik Ray had to avoid a car that was pitting and swung it dead to the right and brings out a caution with 48 laps to go.
Briar LaPrade is on pit road right now, so he is getting his service. So we will see where he shakes out, but this has thrown the field into a frenzy right now. The race chat is lighting up with everyone talking at the same time. I want to see just what caused this. There you see Briar coming out of pit road. We're going to see where he shakes out. But let's take a look what happened to Malik. That's Dylan Basin right ahead of him. And Dylan, wow. The reflexes, first of all. Did Dylan, I don't see Dylan in the race chat calling he pit.
He said it. He said it over the radio. He did not type it. He said it multiple times. He called it in turn 1 and then again in turn 3 when he was pitting, and Malik missed it.
We've heard that numerous times in these big races. Remember the Rockingham 508, Jacob, a couple of years ago, when I think it was Garrett Smithley announced he was pitting like 3 times on the backstretch and David Brown ran him over still?
Yes, I do remember that.
So that's exactly the same instance there. So you got to pay attention for these things. And right now, that's a big break for the field as they will come down pit road. So right now, Briar LaPrade is catching up, so to speak. So he's at a turn 4 right now. So he should pass everybody here and assume the lead once again. So Parker will have slightly older tires. Or I'm sorry, Briar will assume the lead. But we'll see.
I saw Diallo miss his box, had to back up for it. He's going to lose 4 or 5 spots. Parker White wins the race off pit road. Then it's Tinsley, Falkingham, Cozy, Frisch, Blake Reynolds, Kevin King, Michael Guest, and Diallo, your top 10. Zwack, 10th car off pit road. Again, that's because Briar LaPrade stayed out. Let's go to a break. Briar LaPrade is your leader. He pitted right before the caution came out. We'll have the final 45 laps from Atlanta. You're watching the FTF Barr Visual Cup Series finale on FTF.gg. trouble for Michael Cozy Jr.
Elaborate.
Okay, never
sure?
mind.
All right.
Oh.
Thank you for worrying me there, Jake.
Okay, so no. So I heard Kevin say it, and I thought Cozy drop kicked the choose cone, but no, he was on the apron right for the choose, and then came back onto the racetrack before the exit of turn number 2. It's not a penalty. Cozy's fine. We're good. So Brian LaPrade and Parker White are on the front row. 43 laps to go. Green flag, and Breyer is gone on the restart. A great restart for the 019 to turn 1.
That inside line has been great on the restarts here. The outside line just has not been able to get going like the inside line has. Parker White's going to have a great run off of turn 2 to overtake second. Falkingham gives him a big push going into turn 3. And here comes Michael Frisch. All of our playoff drivers are in that middle to top lane right now. So it's been so cool to see them just be around each other for the entire race. It only tells us that this last 10 laps of this race potentially has a chance to be some of the most exciting in iRacing. So buckle up, everybody. If you're just now joining us, I know there's a lot more of you in the chat now. We ain't seen nothing yet. This thing is far, far from over.
No doubt about it. We've got 42 laps to go. Your championship driver, 2nd through 5th on the racetrack. Kevin King, the last one. He's trying to fight on the outside as Cozy gets loose in turn 4, holds onto the race car, but he's going to lose almost a half dozen spots to turn number 1.
Such a difficult part of the racetrack as well, right? When you're getting back on that throttle for the longest straightaway on this racetrack, and you can see it really negatively impacting him here. Is now, I believe it's Brody Kostecki now to his outside, who still has not been able to break his way into the top 10, but now on fresh tires, we'll have to see if his rampage will continue on through the field. Right now, right at the back bumper of Brandon Hawken. Everybody else, again, on the cusp of this top 10 right now. Going to be interesting to monitor his progression through the field. And you can see Brandon Hawken all the way up against the wall. 40 laps to go. The aggression levels slowly and slowly getting higher and higher every lap.
Wyatt Tinsley. Yay, that was tight. With Diallo and Michael Guest, they made contact, but they all kept it pointed in the right direction. That was close.
Proverbial hornet's nest has been like from 7th on back for this entire race, it seems. Everyone gets single file out for the first 6 or so spots, but you get to 7th and all hell breaks loose. Wyatt Tinsley right now in 6th over Michael Guest. Guest will slot in line. That middle to high lane seems to be the line that moves the best, especially on these short runs. So that's why we see so many guys running it. And if I give another call to a guy we haven't mentioned at all in this race so far, Matthew Zwack is up there. That Verizon Wireless number 7 sitting in 8th, right behind Guest. So he's had a good showing as well. Started back in 23rd. And the cream of the crop starting to kind of make their way towards the front here as Brandon Hawken will look to the outside as Zwack.
Zwack was part of the championship battle earlier this playoffs. As Kevin King makes the pass on Frisch, he'll take over the 4th spot on the racetrack. It's good to see Zwack up there running toward the front. He's got Brody Kostecki right behind him. So the stay in the top 10 for Zwack may not be long if Kostecki can say anything about it. But now he'll go to the middle line, 3 wide with Hawken up top and Kostecki trying to peek downstairs as Cozy's in the wall.
Oh boy.
And this race,
in the middle of 1 and 2.
Race has had its fair share of comers and goers, but at this point, with only 37 laps to go here at Atlanta, it has this sense of the cream rising to the top, and that everybody that's been, inside the top 5, or at least shown that they've had that top 5, top 10 speed, all of them are accounted for right now. Brian LaPrade obviously has done a fantastic job up here. Your championship 4, Wyatt Tinsley earlier on, Michael Guest as well, Brandon Hawken, Brody Kostecki, Matthew Zwack. All of them have really felt like they've been in contention and in the hunt for this thing. And here with 36 laps to go, all of them find themselves inside the top 10, right under, it's about a 2.25 seconds margin between the leader and 10th.
35 laps to go. And it's a snarling pack behind Parker White. Eager to try and get by. But if you're Falkingham or Kevin King or Michael P. Frisch, are you just chilling right now? Are you just saving your stuff behind the 011? Or are you working hard to try and pass him right now so you have to play defense instead of being on offense at the end of this race?
I'm just keeping my mental sanity right now. There's still a long way to go. 34 laps now to go at the line. So this thing is still far from over. We've seen in history anything can happen. Cautions can come out at any time for this. And I don't know about you, Kayla, but if I'm in this position, I'm more willing to be on offense rather than defense. You know, I'm making the moves that Michael Frisch is looking to do right now. Get to the middle lane, go to the outside of Kevin King. But how fitting is it right now, guys, that our Championship 4 is right here, just duking it out amongst themselves. And I think everyone from the back is kind of watching right now and observing. But this race has been awesome to watch so far.
And I think you're right. For everybody that's not Parker White right now in this Championship 4, I think that second spot is going to be the most valuable right now, because if you're a guy like Michael P. Frisch right here, you're not only going to have to use the tires trying to get around Parker White here for the end, but you're going to have to use them to try to get around Kevin King and Daniel Falkingham as well. And they're going to be racing you about as hard as it gets at this point. So I think gloves are coming off at this point with 32 laps to go. You see Frisch really starting to get super aggressive. It's only going to get worse as this lap counter continues to just whittle down lap after lap. And Parker White right now trying to fend off not only Falkingham, but soon going to be Frisch and Kevin King as well as they come out of 4 here at Atlanta.
Kevin King a little unhappy with Falkingham. Coming over the radio and asking, do you have a pack to not pass Parker White and just stay behind him? Let's go. As he lost a spot there to Frisch.
The beauty of iRacing. These drivers can talk to each other at any time. And Falkingham taking what Kevin said into account as Frisch got really loose off of 4. He holds on to it. But here comes Daniel Falkingham to the outside of Parker White and to the lead in the championship. But can Parker White fight back on the bottom? They're still side by side off of 2.
Great run on the inside, but Parker gets loose, and Daniel Falkingham takes over the championship lead with 30 laps to go. Oh, Brody Kostecki is driving into the wall! Wyatt Tinsley and Kostecki! Caution's out!
What in the world happened there?
It's like they got hooked together going down into the corner.
Wow.
They made contact at the entrance to turn number 3, and they kept beating on each other all the way up the racetrack and into the wall.
We are going to need to see numerous replays of this. Just as Zach set up his shot, that happened.
We're talking, behind the scenes, we were saying, hey, we may not get the chance to show all 4 championship drivers on cam. Let's do that at some point. We may not get another restart. Well,
what happened here?
So Kostecki came over the radio and was not pleased with Wyatt Tinsley. He said something to the effect of the restart, or the turn starts in 3, not halfway down the backstretch.
Well,
so I was trying to see if Tinsley turned down early, maybe, or if Kostecki comes up.
Let's take a look at this angle.
Oh wow, he's
right on board.
Like crazy.
Yeah, he is pinching him, but watch, he turns in there.
Well, I think Wyatt saw he was pinching him, and he didn't like it. He tried to drive him down the track, give him room, and
we may need another angle.
We may need a blimp cam or something.
Yeah, I think the aerial view is going to be the best here. This is perfect.
Go. Or Michael Guest's on board. That's a front row seat. But yeah, Brody Brody was riding him up the racetrack, and Wyatt was like, "Hey man, I need some room," and they just drove into each other, and that was the result. So now, definitely not the way to go there.
They rule that on the 990. They rule that on Kostecki.
Well, they said it was on both of them. It says on a 990 and 04. Oh no, that's Lucky Dog. Never mind.
Yeah.
So yeah, they are putting it on Brody.
Yep.
I know what number everybody is.
So we did have pit stops, 4 tires from everybody. And, Kevin King, a disastrous pit stop.
And it struck him earlier in the race, and now on what's
Did he get a
potentially
black
the
flag?
money stop.
So he got a black flag, but I think that was passing under the yellow. But he lost a lot of spots. You know what? I think he did. I think he did get a black flag because he's dropping to the back.
And
He
that
may have
would-
sped on pit road
Oh man.
on exit.
That would be absolutely cataclysmic right now at this point in the race. Only 27 laps to go, and I mean, Kevin King does have that experience, but think, guys, I mean, I think it was lap 40 or 50 that he finally worked his way even to the top 10. Now he's going to have to do all of that and more with 27 laps to go, probably with a few cautions in that way impeding his rise through the field as well. That might be the end of his championship hopes.
Wow.
He's going to need a couple of cautions, and he's not going to have. And he's going to have to avoid those cautions. So speed limit on iRacing is 50 miles an hour. He was doing 51 for a long stretch down pit road, and then slowed down to 46 at the exit. Now it's not a radar type speed limit. It's like it is in NASCAR, where it's done by timing lines, and looks like maybe just a little too much there from Kevin King.
Well, iRacing it'll let you do 51 incrementally. Like it won't,
Right.
It won't bust you immediately. If you go 51, it'll let you slow down for a bit. And if you fluctuate between 50 and 51 the whole time, you'll be fine. But I guess Kevin was just over that 50 mile an hour threshold, just too much, and that is. I can't think of a better word than Caleb described it as cataclysmic for his championship, because he's being shown now in 27th, as Jacob said, but a lot has to happen for Kevin to even have a chance right now.
Half a lap away from getting the restart. And then there were 3. Parker White, Daniel Falkingham, Michael P. Frisch, 2nd, 4th, and 5th. It's not over for Kevin King. We've seen him march from the back to the front before, but that was on a long green flag run. That was about 40 laps. So here we go. Pace car is in. LaPrade and Parker White on the front row. Green flag, and another good restart for Parker White on the inside line. The outside line stacked up a little bit, and Brian LaPrade has gone to turn 1.
Michael Guest to the inside of Parker for second. We've seen that inside line not be very good off the corner, especially on the restart, but Guest hanging on, just has no help behind him. Falkingham giving a big push to Parker, gets really loose there. And we look a little further back, there's Seth Knoll, there's Omar Diallo. They are 4 wide almost off of 4.
Oh, Jordan!
It's the John Deere car mowing the grass.
Yep, fitting.
And he loses a dozen spots,
Oh, they're
maybe
wrecking in
more.
front of Kevin King.
Kevin
I don't know how they
King
just saved it.
avoids it. It's Scott Ricard in the wall. Paul Mikolajczyk made contact. We are still green, and they are not done with the 2 and 3 wide racing in the mid-pack.
We need an onboard with Kevin King right now. He's looking to fight his way through this field. Here we go. Right behind Kevin McAdams, Cole Freilich in the 4. I want to see Kevin's lane choice here. How does he maneuver this? Restarted 27th. He's up to 19th. There you see he has not been more focused right now than he's been in a while on iRacing. We're going to see just what Kevin is made of on this short run, known so much for his long run speed. We're going to see what he can do to fight his way through this field. Again, it's not over. 23 to go, but it's such a tall order for Kevin King. Dodge that first bullet. Let's see how many times he has to dodge these wrecks as we get down to the final part of this race.
These guys are out of control around the racetrack.
Is he going to make it 3 here?
Oh, he's got to.
Thought about it. Here he goes. 3 wide. Wets on the inside. Lawson Peel up top.
I mean, he since that restart, he's already up 12
and he
spots. There
sends
goes
Wet
Wets.
for a ride. To the inside wall. We stay green.
A little bit of smoke spitting out a little further ahead as well. Wets has it recollected down on the apron somehow. But back to Kevin King again, just in the thick of it right now. Meanwhile, all 3 championship contenders ahead of him are under a blanket for 3rd through 5th right now. Still single file with only 20 laps to go. I'd say we're about that time where it's going to be just a hornet's nest everywhere around this racetrack.
Michael Guest has taken 2nd. Parker White is 3rd. Daniel Falkingham is 4th. That's the battle for the championship. 3rd and 4th. 3rd, 4th, 5th are your championship drivers. Kevin King, he's up to 15th after starting 27th.
He's got a long trek ahead of him, as we've noted, so we're going to pay attention to where Kevin is in the latter part of this race. His only hope is to destroy the tires getting through this field. A caution happens behind him, and he's already caught the guys ahead. That's a perfect scenario for Kevin. We will see what happens. Up to 14th now is Kevin King, so he's trying to make that last run at it. Everyone pretty calm at the front of the field right now. There you see Parker White, Daniel Falkingham. That is the battle for the championship lead. The lead of the race is up for battle as well. Michael Guest will go ahead and dive underneath Briar LaPrade. They will be side by side. But right now, all eyes are all throughout this pack as this race winds down. Under 20 laps to go here in Atlanta.
Guest looking for his 5th win on the season. Pinching there from LaPrade. And Briar, with the run on the high side, will hold on to the lead, and that's going to open up the door. Parker White has a run, looking for the lead.
You can see Guest all over the back bumper still, and I think the best word to use here, you can still be aggressive. You just got to be cognizant with this championship battle going on behind you. If you're Parker White right now, do you go for this win, or are you just trying to protect this championship lead right now? I don't know. It's going to be difficult, though, because you're trying to not only get around Michael Guest, but hold off a surging Daniel Falkingham and Michael P. Frisch. And one wrong move, and Falkingham is right there on your back bumper, ready to take that away from you. It's going to be interesting. Look at Frisch all the way up against the wall. Meanwhile, a little further back, Kevin King, he's already almost made his way up inside the top 10, just 1 spot, or 2 spots rather, away from getting back up there with only 17 laps to go. He might not be out of it yet.
He's going to need at least 1 caution, though, to get back into it. And the laps continue to wind down. 16 to go here at the start-finish line. LaPrade out in front by a 10th over Michael Guest. 3/10 back to Parker White. And then you're right on board with Falkingham here. He's in 4th. Frisch is in 5th. And Frisch trying to use that outside line to reel him in, as Falkingham has a run. See if he has anywhere to go to turn 3.
Michael Frisch is all over the rear bumper of Falkingham right now, so you never know. This thing is not over. There you see, looking back to Frisch from Daniel Falkingham. All 3 of our front championship 4 drivers. Kevin King still sitting in 12th right now. He's trying to fight his way up through. But as you said, Jacob, he needs a caution, and he needs to not be involved in it in order to get back up. That's the battle we kind of want to look at right now back there. Kevin has 4 cars to deal with. He's on the outside of Michael Cozy Jr., so move him into 11th after he makes this pass. Kevin King, if he falls short on this, this is still such a valiant last-ditch effort to even get up through here again. He restarted 27th after speeding on pit road, but he's given himself a fighting chance. Definitely not going down without a fight.
Michael Guest has taken the lead away from Briar LaPrade. Side by side for 4th. No. Frisch can't hold it, or will he? He drives it in deep. Trying to get by Falkingham for 2nd in the championship as LaPrade tries to cross Guest over.
And side by side for the lead here as well, but this is the battle that everybody's focused on right now. Falkingham, he was looking for real estate in front of the number 58 machine of Michael P. Frisch. Couldn't quite find it. Briar LaPrade going to run Guest up the racetrack. This might open the door for all 3 of your championship contenders right now off of turn number 2 to get back in the fight for the win with only 13 laps to go. Again, laps continue to tick down. The urgency continues to pick up. Parker White just trying to make it to the end while keeping both the 54 and the 58 in his rearview mirror.
Well, and Falkingham keeps getting a run, but he has nowhere to go. When Frisch is on his inside, he can't go to the inside and pass Parker White. So Frisch is boxing in Falkingham, and that's just allowing Parker White to hold on to his championship lead. Coming to 11 laps to go, this time by, as Brandon Hawken is entering the mix there in that 99. Kevin King still stuck back in 11th place, trying to get by Joshua Chin. 11 laps to go at Atlanta.
Coming down to the wire at Atlanta for the 2023 Barr Visuals FTF Cup Series Championship. 3 of the 4 drivers right here. Kevin King inside the top 10 now. P10 right now for Kevin King. But a lot has to happen inside this final 10 laps. Here comes Michael Frisch again to the inside of Daniel Falkingham, trying to make this pass. Been trying to do it the last 3-4 laps. Has not been able to get it done. Just doesn't have the grip off of turn number 4. Falkingham going to motor out to the outside, clear him again, and Frisch will have to try something else if he wants to get by that 54.
And if he's not careful, it could open up the window for Hawken to try and get by. Here they come off turn number 2. 10 laps to go. And Parker White is in the tire tracks of Michael Guest. If he gets Guest between himself and Falkingham, this championship could be done. Pressure is on. 9 laps to go at Atlanta.
And it's just the same thing over and over, lap after lap for Michael Frisch right now. At any point, do you think he and Falkingham try to make a pact together to work together to get around Parker White? Because now he's to the outside of Michael Guest. And if he can get this spot away from the number 9 machine, then it's just going to be one more car they're going to have to pass and that much tire that they're going to have to wear off by the time they get to the 011 machine. I think right now, if you guys just stick together, try to make a coordinated effort to get around Parker White, you can take him down that way. But right now, it's not happening. Frisch is all over the racetrack, wiggling around that rear end, but it's all right. 8 laps to go from Atlanta. Parker White still has a championship lead. He's looking for second.
To the outside on Michael Guest. Falkingham tries to diamond the corner. No luck there. Here comes Parker to the outside for second. Can Falkingham get by on the outside?
Yes, not going to put up too much of a fight. He knows what's at stake between the championship 3 up here. Again, update on Kevin King, still sitting in 10th back there, so he might be done with this one pending a caution. But this is not what Daniel Falkingham wants to see. Parker White with a semblance of clean air. Got a little bit to get up to the rear bumper of Briar LaPrade. But Falkingham using that run off of turn 2 and the draft down the back straightaway. Is he trying to keep these tires cool for a couple more laps to have a last shot at it? Again, coming down to 6 laps to go, and the gloves are officially off at Atlanta. Championship on the line.
Falkingham, big run down the front straightaway. Can he go anywhere with it? The answer is no. He just cannot get by Parker White.
Oh.
He got by him once with about 30 to go. That was the last time we saw anybody get by Parker White. A big run down the back straightaway, but Falkingham still refuses to pull on the line. Frisch gets all over his back bumper in turn number 3, coming to 5 laps to go.
And I get not wanting to make the move too soon, but when are you going to do it if you're Daniel Falkingham? You had an opportunity there maybe to give a little push to Parker White, get him up out of the groove and try to pass him underneath. Maybe just try something. Right now, Falkingham, he's been a little too conservative, I think, to make a big move. And you see Frisch on the flip side, I think he's been a little too aggressive trying to get around Falkingham here. 5 laps to go. They just can't seem to find a balance to work together to get around Parker White at this point. And Parker, again, just sitting, watching that mirror, not making any attempt to get past Briar at this point, just trying to hold off Falkingham for this championship.
Is Falkingham just toying with Parker White here, Sean? Is he just trying some things out, see what'll work, see what won't?
Well, if he's toying with him, he's picking the absolute worst time to do it right now, because Parker White has been calm, cool, and collected all season. And in this race, when he's had cars behind him, fighting, breathing down his neck. He has not batted an eye. He has had ice in his veins all race and all season, has Parker White. And Falkingham getting a little out of shape off of 4 there. Frisch trying to push him. And I think Falkingham is hesitant because he knows that if he goes out of line, Frisch is not going to go with him. As here he goes to the inside. Again, Frisch and White are teammates. And this is exactly what Parker White wants to see side by side behind him. He puts some distance on himself in Falkingham.
Parker White has a 2-car length lead coming to 2 laps to go. Daniel Falkingham may have one more shot in these last 2 laps, but he has to be perfect for these final 3 miles.
Down into turn number 1 for the second to last time. And like you said, options are limited at this point. You're running out of time if you're Daniel Falkingham. A 3/10 gap. You're going to have to make up all that time and get by Parker White, which you've proven not to be able to do this last 30 laps. So you got to try something here. And I think they might just be out of options. Parker White, 14 wins on the season. It's been dominant. Now Brian LaPrade going to come to take the white flag for the final lap in the 2023 Barr Visuals Cup Series season.
1 to go. Brian LaPrade out in front by half a second. He's not a factor. Frisch to the outside of Falkingham this time. Not going to work for the 58. Falkingham will have one last shot, but Parker White into turn number 3 for the final time. He puts the block on Falkingham, drives it in deep. And the Maine native, 14 wins on the year. He's going to get a championship trophy to go with it. Parker White wins the 2023 Barr Visual FTF Cup Series Championship.
Oh, man, fitting. Absolutely fitting. Parker White, been the best driver all season, top to bottom. And we were talking about it, guys. Ice in his veins at the end of this race. Falkingham and Frisch, teammates of his, breathing down his neck. Did not bat an eye, kept his eyes forward. And a much, much deserved championship for Parker White. Great job by everybody. Norse Force Racing well represented in the final 3. And some well-deserved burnouts coming Parker White's way at the end of this one.
Parker White burns it down on the front straightaway. Now a champion. Joining a list of solid company. Kevin McAdams, David Schildenhouse, Taylor Morgans, Brian Mercurio, David Day, Tyler Gary, and Kevin King. Parker White has become the 3rd different champion since the Barr Visual FTF Cup Series has moved to iRacing. And it's turned into a demo derby here on the front straightaway. Here comes Malik Ray. He's got a middle chair. Oh, boy.
Classic
look at this.
FTF.
Look at this.
The winner of the race, the winner of the championship, coming together for some dual burnouts. Love to see that. And again, a lot of these guys race with each other all the time, whether it be in the Coke Series, whether it be an official competition, or again, an FTF. I will say this, heavily biased, but I'm probably right. The best, most competitive league on iRacing, the Barr Visuals FTF Cup Series. The best of the best come to FTF, and we saw it all season. And Parker White caps off the greatest season in FTF history with a championship.
He couldn't get that 15th win, but I think he'll take this trophy over a championship in a heartbeat. Brian LaPrade, your winner. Parker White, 2nd. Daniel Falkingham, 3rd. Michael P. Frisch, 4th. Brandon Hawken, 5th. Omar Diallo, 6th. Michael Guest, 7th. Matthew Zwack, 8th. Michael Cozy Jr. comes home in 9th. And Kevin King, boy, he doesn't speed on pit road. Who knows what that playoff picture would have looked like. He drives back from 27th to 10th, but not enough to win back-to-back titles.
Blake Reynolds, 11th. Malik Ray, we saw him just plowing through everybody, doing their burnouts on the front stretch. He'll come home in 12th. Jonathan Oates, a good run for him in a new paint scheme, 13th. Seth Knoll, a new paint scheme for him, 14th. Jack Mace, 15th. Justin Lisenby, Josh Chin, Lawson Peel, Kevin McAdams, and Jordan Worth. Caleb will round out the front 20.
And looking on back very quickly, Aaron Riolo 21st, Cole Freilich in 22nd, Ryan Pandisio 23rd, Dylan Basin in 24th, Paul Mikulijczyk 25th, Art Reimer in the 26th position, Brian Sabilski in 27th, Drew Jua in 28th, Chris Wetz 29th. Rounding out your top 30 is going to be David L. Brown.
31st tonight belongs to Scott Ricard, John Poole in 32nd, Zach Hudson 33rd, Gavin Newton 34th, 1 lap down, Scotty Smith 35th, 11 down. Alex Balderas finishes 36th tonight, 13 laps down. Rocky Boyd 37th. Brody Kostecki was the last caution flag of the night. He's 38th. Wyatt Tinsley 39th. Jonathan Oshalom 40th. And your final few drivers, Jake Poulin, Carson Hocevar, Tyler J. Williams, 44th on down, DNQs. Parker White, you're a Barr Visual FTF Cup Series champion. Congratulations.
Thank you. I honestly didn't think that was going to go my way because I hit the wall in the middle of the race when I was racing Briar for the lead. And it was like, that was a pretty big hit. And I came down into pits and I had 12.5 seconds of damage. So I was like, this is probably going to affect me because that happened later on into the run when we're all on different tires. So we got the restart, and in a pack, I was just extremely slow. So I really had to just give it everything I had to just stay up front. And just in a pack, it was really hard because you can either push hard and burn your tires or just lay back and just chill and just not burn your tires. And I had to kind of push and not save the tires. So I had to do that the whole race, and it came down to a green run. So I just underfueled a little bit, but I don't think it was enough because I still had like no drive off. So I really had to do everything I could to just hold off fucking him there at the end. But that was overall a really hectic race. I didn't expect to have that good pace at the beginning, but I wish I wouldn't have hit the wall because my pace would have been a lot better.
How hard is it to race your teammate for a championship and also try and keep it clean?
Well, Kevin King came over the mic because Falcon was just pushing me to stay in line and he wouldn't get trained. And then I kind of sent Falcon over the edge and he went around my outside in 3 and 4. But luckily my pit crew just came in clutch and I got out in front. So from there I decided to hold off Falcon. And like I said, it definitely wasn't hard or definitely wasn't easy because I just had absolutely nothing off the corner. My straightaway speed was down. So it's just really hard to hang on there to the end, and just happy I could do it.
What does it mean to you now to win the championship? You're in with some elite company that have won FTF championships before. Kevin King, Dr. iRacing, Tyler Gary. You've got Brian Mercurio on there, another strong eNASCAR driver. David Schulthouse is on there. He's not too bad at the sim either. What does it mean to add your name to that group?
Yeah, it feels extremely good. Just when I first got on iRacing, FTF was one of the first leagues that I saw and started watching, and just seeing all these good names that were racing. And now that I'm actually a champion, I won 14 races. And coming into tonight, I was like, it'd be really cool if I could win it after the season I've had. But my focuses are mostly elsewhere than FTF. So I was just going to be like, it wasn't going to be too big of a deal if I didn't win it because I was just winning for fun. But obviously, I really wanted to win after the season I've had. So it really means a lot to me.
Parker, congratulations. And we'll see you next year at Daytona.
Yep, thank you.
It's Parker White, your champion for 2023. Let's talk with the race winner, Briar LaPrade. The only time we'll talk to a race winner second, it's Briar with Sean.
Hey, Briar. So coming home P1, very solid race on your end. Pace was awesome throughout the whole entire race, was up there consistently for vast majority of this thing. So what do you think the key was to avoid all the carnage back there, 2, 3, 4 wide, and put that number 19 in victory lane tonight?
Well, I just got up front, got some clean air, and just drove the best I could. Yellow's tried stopping us again for what, 4th time now I've had recently. So because Twitter is very lucky I didn't get on Twitter this time and take a horrible take to Twitter. So I felt like that was a really good drive by me. I decided to do this last one just because I feel like we got a pretty good cushion in the Contender Series. So just wanted to kind of drive these cars again, get used to them. And old Atlanta, I love it. So that's a very nice track to drive, which is still a thing. But yeah, very good drive. Very proud of myself. Congrats to Parker. I was kind of checking up in my mirror there so I could see a little bit of the battle, because I knew Falkingham was pretty close there, so it's kind of interested in that battle. But I just want to make sure I had a good enough cushion. And yes, definitely scared me there. He was ripping there at the end and held him off luckily. But yeah, FTF winner. Took me all year to do it, even though I kind of show up here and there just to do them. But fun time, very fun time.
Oh yeah, I've said numerous times, including at the top of our broadcast, so old Atlanta is best Atlanta on iRacing. So this race proved it tonight. So just how tough was it to me? We saw the track temp in the 150s as this race was going on. Just how treacherous, especially on corner exit, was it just to keep that thing straight?
Yeah, I was streaming this race and I asked my chat over at twitch.tv/Brian no shame on the plug there, but
Wow.
I asked him, I was like, yeah, the track was like 120 in practice or Q, and we got about 10, 15, 20 laps into it, and I was like, what's the track temp there, chat? And they said 144, I believe, and I was like, oh, well, that's awesome. I love hearing that, but I didn't expect it to be that hot. It was kind of crazy. But thinking about it now, yeah, it felt about 144 on the track and 144 in my room because I was wheeling and having to hold the car straight, and I don't know. I had fun though. Definitely reminds me of the hard to drive that Brian Blackford kind of throws up here and there. So hopefully he does that again. But yeah, I was getting flashbacks to whenever he hosted one of those here, and I drove very well in that event too, I think. So, but overall, just had fun ripping old Atlanta. Always a fun time.
Oh, for sure. And if you're watching, bring it back next year as well, because I ran that this year and it was a great time. But Briar, man, you did a great job this whole entire race. So limited schedule for you this season. Can we look forward to seeing you back next year at Daytona for sure for 24?
Yeah, I'd always look forward to the FTF 500. I believe you guys do the 500. I don't know exactly what it's called. You guys do like the kilometer stuff, so it gets me a little confused. My brain power.
It's the 500 next year. It's the full thing. Yep.
200 laps.
Yep. So
we only did like 3 overtimes this past year, so we'll see what record we break.
Yeah, well, we might be breaking records. You never know. But yeah, always look forward to those. But as far as full-time commitment, I'd love to. Just depends on how the weekends are looking next year and see if we can go for a championship. Because I was looking forward to racing Parker. I felt kind of confident after I kind of held with them there the first run. And then the second run, I just kept on going. And I was like, well, has anyone done this year? I don't know what's been going on. So, but I felt pretty good holding off Parker there. So, yeah, hopefully next year we'll have some time and do this full time.
Absolutely, man. Well, like I said, great job all race. Well-deserved win for you, man. Congratulations.
Thank you, guys.
That's Brian LaPrade, Jacob, winner here tonight. Back up to you.
Third place, second in the championship, Daniel Falkingham. He's with Caleb.
Yeah, and here with Daniel Falkingham finishing third in the championship race here, second in the overall standings. And Dan, it was you, Parker, and Michael P. Frisch all basically under a blanket there for the last 20 or so laps. Do you think anything could have changed on your end to make a real push to Parker, or do you think he just had your number?
Well, I will say the pit crew didn't cost me on the final pit stop. That was going to be a lot easier. But so pit crew's getting the pink slip when we get back to the shop on Monday. But yeah, just trying to get back there. I felt like I could get to him, but near the end, my rear tires were starting to go off because I was pushing so hard, and I had Frisch right on my tail as well, who he got me all jacked up off a 4, I think, coming to 2 to go, which didn't help my case. But yeah, just a lot of things could have gone different. But like at the end of the day, that's racing. Just I'm just glad we were there at the end, have a chance, and I'm very happy. And if I was going to lose to somebody, at least we lost to Parker. Parker, just amazing how insane he is. So good season, had a lot of fun, and hopefully we can do it again.
Yeah, and it was a great campaign, not only for Parker White, but yourself as well. You had, obviously the 2 wins this year, 9 top 5s, 15 top 10s. Do you think, as a unit, you feel that you can build on this momentum for 24 and make another championship push going on next year?
I really hope so, because I definitely gained some confidence throughout the year that I could race these guys. Because for whatever reason at the start of the year, nothing was going my way. And just I felt like I was getting wrecked every other race and whatnot. Just didn't seem to go my way. But after this, seemed like after the summer break, we flipped the switch and we were really running consistently. Where we were getting closer to Parker, we could run up there near the front. And like I said, we got 2 wins on the year, which was pretty good. Got my first ever win, and then we got up another one in the playoffs. So overall, I call it a successful season. and just wants me to push for more going into next year. Hopefully, I can do all this again next year because I did have a lot of fun. Even though we've had our rough patches throughout the season, it was definitely very enjoyable, and I had a blast.
A hard-fought battle there for Daniel Falkingham. He comes home second in the point standings to Parker White. Thank you for your time, and congratulations on not only a great race tonight, but a fantastic season all around, Dan.
Yeah, I just want to thank you guys for putting on the broadcast. Thanks to all the admins who run the show all year. It's been fun to be a part of, and hopefully, and also thanks to my team NFR Northwest Racing, and hopefully we'll be back again.
Trials and triumphs in 2023 for Daniel Falkingham, and he'll regroup and try again in 24. Jacob.
So what do we do now?
I know it's crazy, isn't it? It feels like just yesterday that we were in Daytona for the Barr Visual FTF 500, and obviously the heck of a time that was. I know it's been a lot of fun to commentate all these races alongside you, Jacob. Sean, we've had a few here in the last few weeks in the playoff push as well. It's been a blast, and Zach, as always, it's just been a heck of a season overall, not only for us up here in the booth, but I mean, who would have thought coming in that, Parker White, a limited time starter last year would have come in here and put together an almost 15-win season and just dominate all year and walk out of Atlanta a champion. It's been a lot of fun to watch, and sad to have it come to an end, but I'd say at the end of the day, the deserving guy got it. And no other way that you would want that to play out.
Anything from you, Sean?
I would echo that. I mean, the best man won, I would say, for this season. I said at the top, if Parker didn't win, we need to do something about this format, because that would have been very backwards. But just want to thank everybody, of course, all you guys for putting these broadcasts on. Zach, as much of a hard time as we give him, he's definitely one of the best producers in the business. Jacob, you're obviously one of the best commentators in the business here. Caleb, you're all right, I guess. I still won't forgive you for leaving me hanging at North Wilkesboro.
He's really taking this high five personally, man.
Yes, I am. So you shook Kevin's hand and then you just looked at me and walked away. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm not letting him live that
To
down.
be fair, I did think the garage, the opening between the infield and the stands was closing. So I was kind of on a limited time budget. I don't want that to be glossed over here.
Unbelievable. Just can't make time for a single. I see how it is, but no, all joking aside, it was such a great time I got to do both on the track and in the booth here. Appreciate you guys letting me join for the last long haul for this. Definitely a lot of fun to watch. 2024 can come soon enough. So everybody, we appreciate everybody in the chat as well for being here all season. There's Andy Margot, defending most popular driver, popping up in the chat. Always good to see Andy. But appreciate everybody being here as well. Trisha for being here all year, cheering on Parker all year, and just everybody watching week in and week out. Definitely wouldn't be doing this without you guys, and such a fun time. Can't wait to come back in 24 and do it all over again. So thanks everybody for being here. Thanks everyone behind the scenes for putting it together. It was a blast.
A lot of good stuff, and the off season's short. We're back in January. For the FTF 500, and it should be a lot of fun. Our coverage here on FTF.gg should return about halfway through the season next year, and hopefully we'll trickle our way through through the first half of the season. But we've got Core. Yep, Core on Wednesday from Iowa. I still don't know who's calling that race, but somebody will be. To take you right into Thanksgiving, and then Core will be rocking and rolling up through February. So should be a lot of fun. Now, in the meantime, everybody at FTF they've let us do this now for 2 straight years, and it wouldn't be possible without their blessing and not firing us for watching ESPN more than the races some weeks. So for all of them behind the scenes, for Zach, me, party of one, for Zach Johnson, our producer, for Caleb and Sean in the booth, I'm Jacob Pitts. Thank you so much for watching Have a great season, holiday season, that is. We'll see you in January.